started to fall, and where were you? How could I know you were falling too? Grabbing the wind, cutting my skin, but it's hard because I'm falling. Tell me why I'm falling. Oh, life's calling, but it's hard because I'm falling.
Hola. Bueno, ya a nada de la conferencia de Roblox más esperada de todas. Así que eso, vamos a estar viendo la Keynote primero y después vamos a estar viendo, vamos a estar mirando los tweets de las nuevas cosas, porque la transmisión en vivo para todo el público dura solo 1 hora, o eso es lo que creo. Después toca lo más importante, que sería después del almuerzo. Lo más importante sería el preguntas y respuestas. Y mañana no voy a estar, pero voy a llegar para el Innovation Award, que sería los Bronze Awards nuevos. Así que en estos momentos ya estamos presenciando el inicio de la RDC, y ahí pongo todo y vamos a estar hablando mientras esto ocurre. Así que vamos a RDC, corte, y ya tenemos la RDC a punto de iniciar. Muy emocionante. Tendremos acá sin música, vamos a dejar acá un mínimo acá, por ahí. Así que bueno, estamos en un evento muy importante. Y bueno, estamos a nada de iniciar. Ya comienza la cuenta regresiva de 15 minutos. 15 minutos tenemos. Así que voy a estar hablando con el público. Hola Benjaro. Espero que moderes bien este día, porque mirá que tenemos 1 hora de directo y después de charla del evento y todo eso. Así que bueno, es a nada iniciar el evento. Está emocionante. A mí va a estar emocionante. Así que esperen que me pongo el micrófono, así se me escucha mejor. Hola, ¿se me escucha bien? Creo que sí. Voy a bajarle esto de volumen. Ay. Ok. Bueno, yo no escucho nada alrededor. Así que... ahí. No, no está en el Discord. Es una conferencia que está en YouTube, pero bueno, solo 1 hora y después toca reflexión a full. Tipo ver tweets y todas esas cosas. Pero hasta ahora es solo esto. Ahí. Bien. Ahí está. Igual escucho la conferencia igual. Es que se escucha doble, creo. Sí está el tweet, está en el Discord, pero no lo publiqué bien. Así que ahí lo publico en eventos. Y una cosa importante es que es posible que esté minutos sin hablar porque tenga que publicar los tweets. Así que cuando den toda la información yo voy a estar publicando tweets en vivo y en directo. Así que eso, tengo el celular a mano para publicarlo en ese caso. Ya está por iniciar la conferencia. Ya nada. Carlos lo hizo oficial. Lo retitulamos. El escenario está muy bueno. Tendría que publicarlo, pero no voy a publicar. Ya lo hice. Hice el retweet. Bueno. ¿Están listos? Porque es el día más importante en Roblox en sí. Bien. Algo de comentar, no sé, nadie habla. No. Ahí está. ¿Se me escucha? Porque tal vez no me escuchan y por eso no hablan. Debería escucharme, pero no sé. Bueno. Hola Roblox Juegos. No vamos a jugar hoy. Y no estoy agregando gente en mi coso porque no agrego a nadie. Y bueno, ahora estamos a nada de la... A ver cuánto dice. Minutos. A 7 minutos de la conferencia más grande de Roblox. Así que no creo que hoy vayamos a jugar ni un ratito. Hoy es seguimiento minuto a minuto de la conferencia. Bien. Viendo el cronograma, tenemos la Keynote. Ahora nada, comienza la Keynote. Después tenemos con un invitado especial después de la Keynote, que dura 1 hora y 25 minutos. Después tenemos un invitado especial. Después del almuerzo, que sería 2 horas después del inicio. Y tenemos ese espacio para charlar y hablar, si queremos. Muchas cosas van a pasar en este día, así que tenemos bastante cosas para hacer. Bueno, contó un chiste.
From the Fort Mason Center in San Francisco.
Ya inicia.
Welcome to the
Ya inicia
2022
la
Roblox Developers
RDC.
Conference.
5 minutos. Lo acaban de decir, 5 minutos. Tremendo chiste, Tenemos en la esquina. Voy a poner subtítulos. Ustedes lo van a ver en inglés. Yo lo voy a configurarlos en español para poder traducirlos bien. Genial, no deja subtitularlo al español. Bueno, ahí lo vamos traduciendo y vamos. Yo lo voy traduciendo total vez en inglés. Pero bueno, eso. Tres usuarios, vamos más gente para acompañarnos en esta edición de la RDC Roblox Conference. Developer Conference. Perfecto. Esta canción y se inicia, 3 minutos.
Good morning.
Ahí empieza,
Take your
perfecto.
seats. The program will begin shortly. As a courtesy to the presenters, please mute all mobile devices. Thank you.
Ahí se inicia. Ya inicia la RDC. Ahí está. Cerca, cerca. Ok, preparo myself. Perfecto. Ya tenemos. Estamos a nada de ver el minuto a minuto. Acá. Ok. Minuto a minuto, explicación, explicación. Ya inicia.
Or are they?
Look deeper.
Ya inició.
Beyond the curves, beneath the edges.
They could be best friends.
Mortal enemies. Notes in a symphony.
Metaverso.
Greatest set ever played.
El metaverso. Acá tenemos todo.
Are they this season's look on the catwalks of Milan?
Explorers unraveling the mysteries of the universe. Daredevils.
Racing toward the future.
Épico. De Picardo. Se pica.
To all of us, these shapes are what we make them.
Ojo. Eso nunca lo vi. Estos juegos nunca los vi. Este sí.
They're the building blocks of our creativity.
The foundation of our art.
The reason we come together. We are the shapers.
The
En
architects.
explicación. Esto es para los developers, pero también dicen novedades que va a venir a Roblox próximamente para los developers, eventos. Y mañana viene la Innovation Awards a las 10 de la noche, hora argentina. Voy a estar acá esperando. Qué buen nombre,
And now, please put your hands together for the
estamos.
founder and CEO of Roblox, David Baszucki.
Ahí viene David, ya entra. Así que vamos a publicar todito.
Oh my gosh. Welcome everyone. Wow. We are a lot bigger than last year. I can already see so many familiar faces. It's so great to see all of you. It's just absolutely amazing to be here. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with you today. I was thinking
Desde la última vez está muy cambiado,
about
¿no?
the
Desde
group
la última
that
vez.
we're having this
No estoy
week.
leyendo chat,
And
así que eso.
together, we're co-inventing
La última vez
the
está muy
future
cambiado.
of communication, the future of storytelling, really the next generation of how we come together. And right now, in the world, at this moment in time, this, I believe, is where it's at. This is the group. This is the group of creators, of inventors. There is no other collection of creators in the world today. It is right here. So it's so, woo! We are reimagining the way people come together. We've been doing it for over 15 years. When we started together, when Roblox first shipped in that very blocky world, all the way to where we are today, we are reimagining the way people stay connected, the way we tell stories, the way we learn, the way we work, the way we play, the way we consume entertainment. We have a long history of trying to reimagine things. we've used a lot of technology to think about this, and sometimes we lose track of how exciting it is to be right in the
Le
middle.
está diciendo que Roblox tuvo un largo camino, una gran historia, que la tecnología también fue avanzando y todas esas cosas, de que hubo mucha imaginación, reimaginación y todo eso. Para explicarlo, ¿no? Si no entienden en inglés les voy diciendo más o menos.
We've been trying to figure out how to tell stories to more people, how to make them more vivid, how to tell them to a million people at the same time, and we continuously figured out ways to do this. We figured out how to write down our language, we figured out how to move to books, we invented photography to capture images, so we didn't have to paint them all the time.
Hay que tener cabeza para poder hacer todo un discurso así, enfrente de miles de personas. Miles, cientos de personas.
Created the movie format that is still big today, but there's something about movies that we're all very aware of, and that is we can't jump into the movie, and we can't do the movie with our friends, but you are all telling stories on Roblox that we together are interacting with. So first off, on storytelling, we're participating in the next evolution of how we share and tell stories, and it's interactive and it's something we do together. There's another long
Bien, Rob ya
history.
subió
How do
la...
we communicate at a distance? How do we send a message across town? How do we send a message to another country? How do we stay in touch with loved ones when we can't be together at the same spot? The mail system served us for a long time, but that ran out of steam. The Pony Express took 10 days, I believe, to go.
Tenemos una gran RDC, No podemos decir que no. Hasta ahora parece aburrido, pero la verdad es que mientras vas leyendo te vas diciendo, wow, tremendo. Pero bueno, vamos a ver. Sé que está en inglés, para los que me dicen que está en inglés, sé que está en inglés.
So we're all familiar, we moved to video, and we've been doing this a lot for the last 2 years, but there is a next generation to this, and there is a next generation where instead of being
Prestar atención, yo lo voy a ir traduciendo lo que va diciendo, poquito a poquito. Mientras voy subiendo las noticias a mi noticiero.
Together, we can play hide and go seek, we can walk down our graduation aisle, we can do things together, and that happens to be the same discipline we've been working on.
Bueno, está dando un discurso de cómo va la tecnología avanzando y la última imagen ya es una aplicación de Roblox básicamente. Así que bueno, ahí manda la imagen atrás, cómo es la evolución de Roblox en este último año. Ese es, básicamente.
So, with all of that, let's take a little stock of how we're growing around the world, how we're aging up, how we're starting to explore new areas of the platform, how our economy is growing, just how we've all been doing together. First off, wow, we've just been growing.
Bueno, la tasa de usuarios llegó a 58 millones de usuarios. Esto hay que publicarlo.
It's more than just play. In addition, we're seeing more time on the platform as well. This is growing up real quickly. And for those of you that, I think there might be some of you that were in the Exploratorium when we did that very first BloxCon, that's over 10 years ago, when we said the target is 400 million hours, and we were at about 40 million hours. And we've blown past that target. We've hit this 4 billion hour target. And this is half an hour for everyone every month on the planet. There's a long way to go here. As people start using this type of technology to communicate every day and tell stories, this number is going to be much, much bigger. We are growing around the world. Let's take a look at our global user community. Of course, the U.S. is big. There's over 11 million DAUs there. If we look at Brazil and the Philippines, there's over 3 million daily active users. If we look in Russia, if we look at Mexico, there's over 2 million daily active users. If we look at Indonesia, there's over 1 million.
Bueno, ahí vemos.
We're growing in every country. Thailand, Vietnam, everywhere. A lot of growth there. This growth is powered by our technology and your
Vemos
creativity.
que en África hay muy poca comunidad que quieren llegar hasta ahí, pero bueno. La verdad es que hay mucha comunidad de Estados Unidos, Brasil, Argentina no tanto, pero en Brasil hay una gran cantidad, si los ves acá, una gran cantidad de usuarios.
But let's look at a couple really interesting countries. We're going to look at India and Japan. India, very interesting.
En India y Japón hay una gran cantidad de usuarios, tengo que decirlo.
Very difficult form factor for devices. Japan, very interesting because it's one of the largest economies for game in the world right now. Both of these are growing amazingly. This is 15x growth in 4 years in both of these. And we're really excited in India. We're not talking a light version of Roblox or a special version. This is the exact same Roblox version we've been using for 15 years. We'll never bifurcate the product. We will make our core product faster and better. And in Japan, through all of our awesome efforts of translation, quality, and all of that we'll talk about, we're seeing this growth as well.
Bueno, a ver, una gran cantidad de... Acá tenemos una mejor imagen de los developers del mundo. Vemos que en Europa hay un montón. Una gran cantidad. Hay una gran cantidad.
You'll notice I didn't mention the obvious ones: Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Canada, Europe. Like, that's just par for the course. We see that all the time, but it's really growing. So welcome to all of you as well. So let's take a look, just a little dive at a few areas I want to dive into. One is
palabras inspiradoras del CEO creador de Roblox.
Another is going to be just the expansive use of our platform. The work we've done on translation technology is absolutely amazing, and it's consistent with the vision that you build once on any device in any language. This started with a dream 10 years ago where we imagined someone who is very young, first experience in game development, pushes the button. They're on a phone, they're on a tablet, they're in the US, they're in Germany, they're in Japan, everywhere. This has really come to hold with our machine translation technology. Thank you, all of you who've adopted this. Let's take a look at a few countries and see what's happened here.
No, salió un ítem nuevo en la RDC, ni en pedo lo hago ahora, pero bueno, después lo haremos, después lo publicaremos. En medio de la RDC me quedé.
Quality of search and discovery, you see an 8% player growth in Japan, and this is part of the engine that's been driving our growth there. Our translation technology is rapidly becoming best in class. We benchmark it against other cloud translations. It's reaching that critical mass where it's getting better every day based on feedback.
Rusia,
now, in addition
Taiwan.
to translation technology, what else is powering our growth around the world? A lot of you who are creators and developers know that underneath all of the fun, exciting content, performance is super important. And I want to talk a bit about our global infrastructure. Let's take a look at what we've been doing. We have been on a vision ever since we really started to build our own worldwide human experience grid.
Hola Anja, está hablando de cómo fue, bueno, esta charla es cómo fue avanzando con el tiempo la RDC, o sea, la RDC, Roblox, usuarios, tasa de horas jugadas, comunidad de developers en el mundo y todo eso. Está hablando de esas cosas. Muchos diferentes países, bueno, es una gran variedad. Y bueno, hay que estar prestando atención. Yo de mientras estoy mirando y publicando noticias a la vez. Tengo muchas cosas.
For those of you that are into it, we'll show you the march of our infra over the last 3 years. Some fun stats.
Son demasiadas
What's 3
cosas.
terabits per second of bandwidth mean? That's amazing. That's more than a lot of cloud company in certain configurations. And what it highlights is under the covers of this, not just where we are, but a future. A lot of Roblox users don't know it, but when they log into Roblox in some country, in some part of the world,
Esta parte la voy a saltar, total, mucha importancia no es que
going
tenga.
over our bandwidth to our servers to give amazing performance.
Y salió un nuevo ítem gratis.
There's a lot of
Literalmente,
room here
en estos
that we're
momentos
gonna
Spotify
expand
sacó
beyond
un
to
nuevo
really
ítem
build
gratis. No lo puedo conseguir porque estoy en pleno
world's
directo.
best
Así que voy a aprovechar. Vamos a aprovechar en la hora del almuerzo, que es en 2 horas. En 2 horas vamos a aprovechar y vamos a hacer. Vamos a hacer 2. Déjame ver una cosa.
And whoa, India's growing very, very quickly. It highlights how important performance is, and we continue. I want to focus a bit on economics. Let's jump to our.
Vale, la puedo ver desde acá. Más fácil.
And for those of you that
Bien.
were, I want to focus a bit on economics and some of
Vamos a
the
acceder a
stuff
todo.
we talked about doing.
Y vamos a seguir viendo el
For those of you
evento.
that were with
Después de
us
esta
3
keynote,
or 4 years
vamos a
ago,
ver lo demás del evento, que es un montón.
the
de qué hablar.
more we can
Así que bueno.
enrich the economy of your community, the faster we're going to grow. So behind the scenes, when we're having our executive staff meetings and our board meetings, we're talking about you quite a bit, and we're talking about moving money to the creator community, about running an efficient company, about expanding the economy. We talk about you a lot, and we know you power things. So how is this doing? Let's take a little look. First off, how many creators are earning Robux every month? With engagement-based payouts, this has just gone crazy.
Bueno, creators. Bueno, vemos cuánto ganan los creadores
And then I get it. We
por
have
mes.
creators ask,
Así que vamos a.
is this all going to the top devs? Are the top devs getting bigger? And are the devs that might have an experience by playtime ranked at 1,000 or 10,000, are they getting screwed? You know, all that. What's going on? So we want to show you some of the numbers. Let's take a look. This is where we
Estoy,
were in
estoy escuchando,
2019.
pero no voy a comentar porque tengo que
For
publicar los tweets.
engagement-based
Perdonen por
payouts,
esa,
this is
por
roughly
esa cosa.
what the yearly take would be of a
Yep.
creator on our platform, number 10, 100, or 1,000. We'll fast forward to 2022.
Ah.
You're going to see something really interesting. What we hope to do, which is get
Eso,
the
y obviamente que no puedes
creators
hacer pin, no tenés el permiso.
we
Dale,
did. We
recia.
had an offsite about this 3 years ago. We said we want a 30 grand for these creators. It exactly happened. And let's take a look at the growth rate that we've seen. That 200% is a 3x, not a 2x for the top 10 devs.
Bueno, esto es lo que ganan.
869
Porque a veces al mes.
10x
Tampoco es que sea mucho.
for those 1,000
Algo súper
creators.
especial.
And the bigger we make our economy, the more we think all of this is going to go up.
Números,
I
más
want to
números
highlight there
y
are
más
many
números.
more than 1,000 people in the world making a living on Roblox right now. Some of our top creators have more than
Miles de personas mirando
studio. So when you start multiplying that
como un
together,
señor viejo habla.
there's many more people we believe working
Mirá que
on the
este
platform
David
ecosystem
Bazuki
that
se,
are in
¿cómo
our
se dice?
company itself.
Se parece al creador de Amazon. No me digas que no.
I want to show an interesting thing about the UGC catalog, and once again, we talked a while ago where we want to move this all to
Publicaste,
you.
¿no?
Avatars, clothing, everything. We don't want to be in that creation
Sí, sí,
business.
lo
This
publiqué.
is the very final part that's going to come to fruition. This creator base has grown. There's really 2 opportunities here. We'll talk about this in a little bit. One is all of you that are UGC creators. This is going to keep growing, but we're going to more and more about creation in experience itself. And you are going to see us pushing and pushing and pushing, where if you have a particular style of avatar
Bien,
that
estamos
you use in
leyendo.
your experience, your
Bueno,
experience will become an avatar editor, your experience will become an avatar creator. We want your experience to persistently save an avatar that can be used throughout Roblox, and this goes for avatars and clothing. So our hope is you will help participate with us in moving this asset creator, expanding both our current asset
la
creators,
tasa de
and
UGC,
if we go
la
forward
cantidad
a
de
bit,
UGC.
we really want every person on Roblox, with your help, to be an asset creator. And we think ultimately we want hundreds and hundreds of millions of creators working within your experiences to create things. Okay, so we're working hard to expand the economy. We're working hard to expand our vision. I want to talk a bit about what we believe is happening right now, and that is what we're all doing goes beyond making games. We're making social experiences, we're making other things. So let's take a look at where we think this is going. Beyond social experience creators, one of the ones we wanted and we hoped about when we started the company is actually educational developers, and I want to talk about this because it's so special. Think of all the people who make educational software, curriculum, textbooks, who build things within schools. A lot of this is going to move to 3D co-experience. There's so many things
No sé
we
qué está
can't
hablando.
do in the real world. There's so many places we can't go. Many of these experiences are so much richer than a video or a textbook. So when I say travel to ancient Rome with your friends, this really is going to happen, and people are going to be developers for this type of stuff. Of course, we're also going to see brand creators and music creators. We're already starting to see a whole flock of creators. Some of you are here who are side by side our game and experience creators. You're supporting brands. They need help, inventing this new medium. This is no different when the movie projector was created or internet video was created. Everyone's trying to figure out, like, who are the experts in building this stuff. So there is also a big emerging market for our developers working with both music production and with brands. But I want to dive in on education just because it's so near and dear to my heart. And when we started
Uy, ¿de qué
Roblox,
estaba hablando?
the prior company we
Voy a
run
poner el
was
día.
called Knowledge Revolution. We were
El
at that
futuro de
time
Roblox,
very
educación.
primitive simulators
Ojo,
for
Roblox
physics.
quiere llegar a
One
la
of the dreams we
educación.
had for Roblox is, whoa, not everyone has a robot construction set. Not everyone can participate in FIRST robotics. How do you get all the motors and servos and hardware? So lo and behold, Filament, along with FIRST
Quiere llegar a la
robotics,
educación.
on top of Roblox, is building our dream, really. I mean, this is a robot construction set where you can drive, where you can compete, where a lot of the things that have so far been isolated to a smaller group of people who have access to this can be available for everyone in the world. Every student in the world can participate in FIRST robotics now that this is on Roblox. Another example,
Bueno, el futuro de Roblox es la educación, claro.
where are people going to learn to code? Is it going to be 100% in Roblox Studio, or will there be other ways that are maybe a more gentle on-ramp? And just as we've talked about avatar creation in experience, clothing creation in experience, we also
Sí,
wanna
la
highlight
verdad es que
that
se
we want
necesita
in
un nuevo código,
so that
porque
that
el código
turtle
debe
graphics
correr
that
porque
might
está
have
muy
used in
difícil
college or Robbie the
hacer los
Robot
códigos.
or whatever,
Con esto
this is gonna become a 3D
se va a mejorar
version.
mejor el código. Quieren mejorar el código, esto
People
no lo
are
voy a
gonna be
publicar porque no
introduced
llegó el
to
tiempo,
learning with inexperiences.
pero se
We
necesita
like
llegar al
it
código, se necesita
because
y
someone other than
es
us
necesario
is building
es
this
muy
polished
necesario
educational experience. So there's a
mejorar el
huge,
código
huge opportunity
de
there. Okay, let's talk about something that's near and dear to all of our hearts, which is discovery. Discovery is so big, right? It's so important. Number one, as we have older
Discovery.
people on the platform as we have people all around the
No
world.
sé, no me acuerdo qué
This has to
significaba
get
Discovery,
infinitely
que
more
tengo que decirlo ahora.
responsive and infinitely more personalized, so every single person finds what we think is the best experience for them. It's really exciting because unlike video, we have all these signals. Who are your friends? What are your friends doing? What have your friends done? That can power discovery as if we've never seen it before. And we have an amazing team working on this. There's a couple ways we talk about it. One is, how much can we know about you?
Estos momentos ya es charla, preguntas, así que lo anterior ya era importante por lo que estaba diciendo.
And then the other thing is, what are all those real-time signals to help you find new things? I want to highlight two areas that we're really focused on. And
Es muy...
the first is
Ahora es charla, no estaban avanzando en el tema.
that we've historically
Ahora me gustaría que avance más en el tema, pero bueno,
ignored
es lo que hay.
And the question it's of should we offer some benefit to developers who have figured out how do I balance both engagement,
Ahora,
retention,
ya
and monetization?
vimos números,
That's the high,
nuevas cosas,
highly
y bueno,
difficult
falta
thing that some
más,
of you are
porque ahora se viene más.
we feel
Mucho
you should
más.
get a little benefit for that. We want to be
A ver qué
very
sigue.
careful because
Ojalá nos sorprenda este
historically,
señor,
we've been
siempre nos
100%
sorprende
doing
por algo.
discovery based on engagement and retention.
Ojalá hoy
But we
sea
are
la
going to
razón.
nudge it just a little, and this is called the efficient frontier. For those of you that are mathematicians, you can see that's a flat line, which basically means up till now we've ignored monetization. We're going to make a small tweak, and we've already shared this with you, where for two experiences that are exactly the same on retention, exactly the same on playtime, where one is really monetizing, which is very difficult with that same thing, we're going to give them a nudge. And I'll give you an example of what this looks like. By the way, these are all fake experiences, so just heads up. We didn't put any of you up here. So this is our vision of making up Roblox games. But you will see very subtly, if we see a couple experiences that are monetizing really, really well, with that same retention and engagement, they're going to get a little nudge on our discovery sword. And visually you can see what that's going to look like. The next thing I want to talk about is new content
Claro.
discovery.
Eh,
This is an amazing
van a
this is the
mejorar
dream of Roblox. This is when there were 4 of us in a
de lo
room
más
together.
jugado a lo menos,
We talk
supongo.
about this all the time.
Yo en esta foto,
You know, can we show up on Roblox?
no,
And even when we're really big, can someone show
No,
up
eso
and
no.
something amazing, get to the top of the charts, get millions of
van a
players
meter nuevo
without
contenido,
doing anything except
claro,
making
y descubrirlo,
We already do this pretty
supongo,
well,
¿no?
but we're putting a
Es un nuevo
lot of
sistema
focus.
de reconocimiento para que
As we
las
get
experiencias
bigger,
se conozcan
I
más.
think it's really exciting. We want to stay true to that vision. But we're getting more and more sophisticated on the signals we have to do this, and we think there's an amazing opportunity here. So, for those of you that are curious, what does this look like? When our ML and our algorithms see, oh my gosh, the retention of this very small experience is off the charts. Everyone's coming to this. There may only be 100 players. Here's what we'd like to see happen. And those experiences as well get a chance to participate in search and discovery. So, in addition to all of the things we'll do,
Sí, lo que tiene nuevo lo van a
marketing
sacar,
and
supongo.
advertising, this is still foundationally how we thought about and ran the company. Okay, the next thing I want to talk a bit about is the economy. And for those of us that watch the gaming space,
La
this
economía.
has been a dream for 15
Van a
years.
agregar más anuncios.
It's,
No lo puedo
it's
creer.
been a dream in addition to
Esto es,
traditional online
esto es
advertising,
incompetente, incompetente
whether it's text
de
or
parte.
video or web. There's been a dream that someday there will be a immersive, native, non-invasive, not jumping off platform, very civil, very safe next generation of advertising. And we don't take this lightly, right? I don't know, is there anyone in the room who remembers pre-roll video on Roblox?
esto no lo publico porque no hay por
For
qué.
those of you that remember it, we did the right thing and we got rid of that, which is a great day that was a great day in Roblox history. Woo. But this is the one we've thought about for a long time, and the reason we like this one is the brands we work with are fun and exciting brands.
Está medio
They're
difícil, está
brands
medio
that,
difícil.
a lot of our
De nadie, ¿no?
users want to engage with.
No hay nadie.
and
Ay,
interact
justamente
with.
alguien.
So we're creating a system where if you
Normal es una
want,
conferencia medio aburrida,
put units
pero
in
bueno,
your
es lo que hay.
experience.
O
They
sea,
can be
después,
polls, they can
en el
be
preguntas y
billboards,
respuestas,
they can be pictures.
ahí se
It's
viene
up
lo
to
heavy.
you.
Igual acá es
And
como
if
lo
you have
nuevo,
that
lo
in
que
your
van a intentar ver en el futuro y todo
ads
eso.
will dynamically run on it. High quality brand ads, in addition to engagement-based payouts, in addition to Robux. This is a third leg of the economy, and we think this is purely additive. Purely additive. We have over 4 billion hours of engagement a month. When people run those numbers, that is a huge opportunity for us. And at the same time, we can do it gently and slowly and with quality. So this is what it looks like. A lot of our brand partners want to reliably bring
Ah,
new
vale.
users to their
Estos
experience.
anuncios
We
para
wanna
llevarte a la
make sure once
experiencia.
you visit,
Claro, porque esto
you
solo
come
lo
back
podían
with a
hacer
better
muy pocos.
experience.
Muy pocos lo podían hacer. Ahora,
So more to come on this. We're gonna
si
be
haces un
playing
trato con
around
una
with
experiencia
this
grande, lo
with
puedes
early
implementar.
versions
Pero
as
claro,
early
tenés que
as
tener
this year, which I'm super
lo
excited
bueno
about.
de tener
And
la
we have
experiencia
a
donde te
history,
lleva a eventos
whether
así.
it's international
Pero bueno,
translation, whether it's our virtual economy.
eh,
When we do these things, at the time they don't seem as
mucho
big as
nuevo
they
en esto
are,
no hay, tipo
but in 2 to 3
un
years,
programador
this
que
is gonna
sabe,
be another way to help you
un trabajador que sabe, sabe.
Another one I just want to talk about. Let's
Sabe
take a
cómo
look
hacerlo
at,
esto sin esto.
um,
Pero bueno,
our
esto ya lo hace con un
numbers
trato y
now,
listo.
and,
Ahora límite, se viene lo
So
interesante.
what is unique about this? Well, there's actually some stuff that's unique.
Van a
about
optimizar por
this that is the
fin.
legacy of
Van a
of
optimizar,
Roblox, because it's a limited.
esto es
It's very
importantísimo.
rare. It's very expensive. We have had parents call me and send me. You know, people are trying to figure out how to sometimes even buy these things, and they're very, very expensive. We want to get out of that game and figure out a way for you to interact with our catalog and our economy to make limited, and to do it in a good way, in a thoughtful way. So hopefully soon, this is what our catalog starts
Van a
looking
optimizar,
like,
eso es muy bueno.
and
Esto es lo
these
que
will
yo
be
esperaba.
something we won't make. These will be something you'll make, and we want the day to come when the valuable items on a platform are not made by us. Okay, so we talked about economy, we talked about around the world. Another interesting thing that happens when I talk to investors or employees is, yeah, but what about that aging up thing? When are we going to age up? It's funny because we've been having that same conversation for 5 years, and I typically tell them, just like right now, this is arguably the largest gathering of creative people in the world. We're right in the middle of aging up as well. We're not starting, we're in the middle. Let's start with our brands and let's look at how we
Esto yo lo necesitaba, la optimización de los límites,
with our brands.
porque la verdad es que ya
The growth here is amazing. And
muy
what's
cansado.
interesting here, this is bringing a lot of older traffic to our platform. A couple other things is you can see some of the newer brands are highlighting the opportunity in music, are highlighting the opportunity in fashion, are highlighting the opportunity in beauty, and also highlighting not the old way where you have a big event, but highlighting a future where these will be permanent presences on the platform. They will be bringing organic traffic to their experience, but they will also be figuring out ways to reliably get
la comunidad va a poder crear sus propios límites. Ojo con eso,
and they will most likely be asking for your
ojo con eso.
with immersive ads to do that. So there's going to be a wonderful complement between these brands, permanent experiences, and
Ojo con eso,
the ad
bueno,
units that
volvemos.
you put in your experience. Our answer
Bueno,
to when are we aging up
partnerships,
is this
lo
round,
que todos
which is,
odiamos.
we are in the middle of it.
Es
The
lo que hay.
majority of people on our platform
Es lo que hay.
are
Ahora
up
es
now.
lo que todos
And
odiamos. El partnership es lo que
there's
todos
a
odiamos, lo
lot
sabemos.
of
Pero bueno,
headwinds
es
in the
algo
space.
necesario para Roblox y bueno, ahora
A lot of
venimos con más por
headwinds.
ciento de
There's
usuarios.
a lot more 17 through 60-year-olds in the United States than 9 through 12-year-olds. There's a lot. And that segment is growing very, very quickly. So for those of us that like to extrapolate, it's a huge opportunity. Part of aging
Hola,
up
hola chat.
is to complement what we've done, and this is both in
Es
voice
la conferencia de Roblox, la más importante de todos los años. Entonces, bueno,
we know we need this,
bueno,
right?
hay que prestar atención porque van a anunciar nuevos cambios.
My daughters are not going to use this product.
Todo eso.
Right?
Bien, optimización de celulares.
Savvy users,
Optimización de celulares.
they're between the ages of 18 and 22.
Vamos,
Got it?
que se ve la
We
optimización de
are aware
celulares.
of this. And
Por fin.
so, as we introduce spatial voice, consistent with our very
Además,
focus on civility and safety,
Va a haber un
this is where we're
filtro
going,
para los
to this
mayores.
future,
Ojo.
which is more freedom. Woo! All right. The other thing that we have coming on the platform that I just want to dive into is experience guidelines. This is going live on Monday. So really excited. This is like translation. It's something we talked about for 4 or 5 years. Then we were in the middle of it, and it was a lot of hard work.
Bueno, van a
And now
actualizar
we look back,
información
we go, oh yeah, of course,
en los
Japan is
celulares,
growing.
pero es
Yeah,
algo
and then we
irrelevante. Yo lo que quiero es una
we're not
optimización
looking back. In 3
en
or
los
4
celulares,
years,
por
we're
favor,
gonna look
porque
back and
Roblox
say,
sin celulares es una
of
cagada.
course, there's some content that is great for all ages, and parents can control that. And of course, there's 13 and up experiences on Roblox. And maybe someday there's 17 and up experiences.
Edades.
Excuse me. I think I'm getting an avatar communication thing from Kiran and Mahesh. So let's see what's going on here. Sorry about that. Hey, Kiran and Mahesh, I'm joining our experience. So let's see. I may be flooded with my Wi-Fi, so let's see if I can get in. Give me 1 second. If I don't have enough Wi-Fi, I will jump on video instead. So let's see.
No tiene wifi.
Okay, cool.
Ahí está.
So hey, what's going on? Guys, what are you, Kiran, Mahesh, what are you
No,
doing
no lo puedo creer.
interrupting my main stage?
No lo puedo
Hey
creer.
Dave, nice to see you here. Meet Mahesh. In
No
the
lo
room.
puedo creer.
Hey guys, look at this. I can finally move my ears.
Ya llegan. Ya llegan.
Guys, this is crazy. That Roblox is the only product that I leave alerts on. I'm on
Ya
the
llega.
main stage and in the
No lo
middle
puedo creer.
of RDC,
Ahora
here you
se vienen
are. What's
los
going
heads.
on?
Yep,
Que podés
this
interactuar
is
con las
a,
personas.
exciting way to chat with your voice and avatar on Roblox, and I can't wait
Sí,
to
está
see
buenísimo,
Mahesh's
está buenísimo.
reaction when I beat him in
Ya
jailbreak.
quiero esto,
You
la verdad es
wish,
como...
Kiran. There are dozens of avatar types to choose from, and you can even customize your accessories.
Actually, I think I need to change my beard right now.
Oh, that looks perfect.
All right.
Okay, well, guys, I guess thank you for interrupting me because it's great to see our vision of where this is going, which is many times a day we're going to communicate on Roblox. Thank you, Kiran, and thank you, Mahesh. Great job.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Dave.
Sorry about that. I left the alert on for Roblox, so sorry about that. Okay, so when I was growing up,
Bueno,
this is what
lo que
the
acabamos de ver
specs
es impresionante.
for a great
Para
game
Roblox,
engine
muy impresionante.
look like. Z80 6502 raster graphics or vector graphics actually, and I just want to highlight how far
Ay,
we've
qué
come, and I want to
pájaros.
highlight to you our huge focus on performance, our huge focus on
Muy emocionante,
scale,
Lo que acabamos de ver es
our
muy
huge
emocionante.
focus on reality, our huge focus not just on visual simulation but on acoustic simulation as well. And you're gonna hear a little vision later from both Dan and Manuel, and you're also gonna hear from Morgan and Arseny. But I do want to assure you, this is the spec we're working on. Okay, that's our game engine spec.
Ya termina.
50,000
Bueno, ya termina.
players,
Faltan
photorealistic,
más de 20 minutos.
it
Más de,
models
más de
sound
40
as
minutos
well
faltan.
as light.
45 minutos faltan.
And
Exactamente.
we're excited to jump in and handle this, and we have the team to do this. And you're
Nos
gonna
vamos
see early
a lo
signs.
siguiente, que sería...
Relentlessly
Espérenme que voy a ver el
working hard.
calendario.
Couple quick examples. Parallel Lua is
Lo siguiente
absolutely
sería...
We have big
un
servers in
invitado
the
especial.
cloud. We want
Perfecto.
more and more of your scripts, not
Se
just
viene
on
hasta las 12 y a las 12 hacemos parate para
exciting
conseguir los
demos
ítems de
for
Spotify.
hundreds
En vivo y en directo.
PCs
Lo vamos a
that
conseguir.
we think are gonna be scaled.
Bien.
You know, hyperscale
Bueno, van a mejorar
everything in our
el
stack.
carga
We're working
del
on
mapa.
really fast,
Eso
real-time
va a costar
geometry,
mucho.
join times. So you're gonna hear more about it, but I do want to highlight we think part of our growth
Yo creo que va a
is
costar
the
mucho eso.
scale of our engine and infra. The other thing
SGS.
that we're really
Van a
imagining
mejorar muchas
and
cosas.
is how we do
Primero el carga de mapa.
and just as we're rethinking how we all come together to communicate and to storytell, we're also rethinking how we create. And I want to share a few of the ideas we have. Studio, getting more awesome all the time, handling larger and larger teams, building a plugin and a cloud architecture. And in addition to all of that, what I mentioned earlier is supporting your ability to make creation experiences as well. And just as we've essentially crowdsourced with self-serve creation, we want to take that up another notch and build these type of experiences. The vision is Roblox would never build this. One of you is going to build the Project Runway experience on Roblox. We're going to come in, we're going to use sewing machines, we're going to go buy the fabric, we're going to hang it on mannequins, we're going to wear it, and we're going to keep it. And it's going to be persistent. And this is a way that more than
Bien.
more than we
¿Qué pasó?
even do, our
Quiero saber
users
qué pasó.
start to build creation with your participation. So this is one of our big visions and dreams, and it goes beyond creation into how we're going to shop. We would like all
Ojo.
of the shopping to happen in your experience.
Van a permitir
That
shops
said, when we come back to
en las
Roblox
experiencias para
Studio,
todos o solo...
the vision is how does a 1,000-person team work in Roblox Studio? How do
Va a
we
haber más team en los
collaborate,
estudios.
power
Muy bien.
that together? This gets into
Teamwork, me sirve.
some of the things that
Una colaboración con
we
más
made enormous
personas.
progress on.
Bueno, igual
This
esto
is
se
our
puede
cloud
hacer en este
platform.
momento en Roblox.
More and more,
Después tenemos
everything on Roblox will work in the cloud. You'll be able to access it. Studio
Claro,
will be
una
able to
nube,
access
muy
it.
bien, donde
We will be able to have larger
van a
and larger
guardar
teams.
en un
We have
software.
a vision
Vaya, van a mejorar
internally.
básicamente lo que
Someday,
viene siendo
for those
Roblox
of you
Studio.
that
Le
are
van a
using
incluir una
Roblox
nube
for
con
systems,
todo, con
we would like
volumen,
to be using
editor
the same Roblox
y
for
3D
systems
editor. Bueno,
to power Roblox.
está bien, es algo
Now that's kind of wacky, right?
que se necesita,
You're
pero
using
tampoco
it,
es que algo
we're
que
using
pidamos
it.
tanto. Es una
Isn't
mejora
that kind of weird or dangerous?
que nadie pensó,
It's
pero que
actually super
Roblox
hyper
pensó que iba a
eating
estar
your
bien.
own dog food.
Algo
We need
evidente.
scale, we need reliability, we need millions of people to be able to use this, and that combination of scale, reliability, and ease of use is really difficult to solve, but we like solving difficult problems. So
Pues se viene
someday we hope to.
el invitado especial. Estoy
I'm
esperando
really
este
pleased
momento.
to say that packages are getting to the point of being awesome, and we've done a lot
Bien.
of work on this. We have amazing team working on this, And that vision of 1,000 people with an architecture for working on different pieces, for having artists
Van a hacer un
working in a
estudio para
different place,
mejorar
for
todo
coders,
esto.
for protecting your code from the
comillas.
artists at the same time is also super important.
Protegiendo tu código.
Finally,
Algo súper
where does
importante.
Roblox run? How do we access it? I want to give a huge shout out to our Roblox app team that has been creating our universal app. This is a huge move.
Se viene
And this is the
la app
move
de
from
Roblox.
launching a
Ya
client
estuvo la beta
to an
y hoy
app
se viene
that is more
la
consistent,
Epic
PC, Mac,
Épico.
iOS, phone, tablet,
Mirá como
Android,
le hacen
ultimately
spam a Sonic.
console,
Aguante Sonic.
TV, and whatever.
Pero,
Exciting thing
pará,
about the
dijo para PC
universal
Mac, ¿no?
app is it joins a family of compatible technology.
PC,
And
Mac,
across
iOS,
the board,
phone,
we are
tablet,
seeing
bueno.
improvements in every metric
Todo esto.
with our universal app.
Bueno, la Xbox ya estaba. Bueno, es una
You can also see a bit of a
todavía
hint
suficiente.
here that we're building an
Esto no lo publico
architecture
porque para mí parece irrelevante, no sé para otros.
on other platforms, newer VR platforms, other consoles, potentially TVs. We have a great way of making Roblox work across all of that. One final point on our universal app thing and team, I'm going to show you one metric that you probably don't see in the press very often, which is, yeah, who talks about app launch times? Like, that's pretty boring.
App
right?
launch.
That's not like
Muy bien, llegamos a la utilización.
inside Roblox,
Android
this is what we focus
está
on.
peor que iOS,
Raw
lo sé.
performance, simple
Pero vamos a
quality,
ver cómo van a hacer para optimizarlo. Esto es algo muy importante porque muchos jugadores juegan desde Android y no se está pudiendo jugar muy bien. Hay muchos errores en la jugabilidad. Bueno, yo espero que lo mejoren.
super difficult. Okay, super difficult. Okay, so as we get close to the end here, let's go to the famous part of the segment. All right.
Bien,
The-
vamos.
woo!
Predicciones.
For those of you that were here 4 years ago, we made a bold set of 10 predictions. We watch them every year. This is good practice. It's kind of like in a board meeting, looking at your plan and seeing how we did. So let's take a look at how are our predictions done. Here was our launch, and here's how we progressed through 20 and 21, and I want to then go through them today just to do a little check-in. Check mark is good. It means we already did.
Esta es la parte aburrida que a nadie
No
le interesa,
country,
pero bueno,
more than
es lo que hay.
50% devs did that last year. Million concurrency did that 2 years ago. Major brand did that last year. Okay, this one is right on the edge, the national movie one. We believe one of our studios may be in conversation for a national movie, which is exactly what we wanted when we said this. We never want there to be a Roblox movie. We want there to be a creator movie, but we don't think it's going to launch this year. So stay tuned and we'll see what happens.
Bueno, Roblox va a tener
More than 50 million people code, yeah.
parte aburrida,
Once again, with
números
some of what I
que
showed
no.
you, that's going to get much larger. 1,000
Interesante.
person, yes. The toy thing, we already said we don't think it's happening. 50 million a year already did it.
Hasta este momento pasaron
This
tantas
year,
cosas.
we're seeing 100 person plus studios. So cha-ching, welcome. The next one, I shouldn't even talk about this next one. We should just skip the next one, okay? That's a no. Given all of our brand engagement, the movie, we still think yes.
Predicciones.
And
Bla,
then
bla, bla.
finally, this is arguably the densest collection of Tesla owners in the world. Like this is a this could be called a Tesla user group. So I'm not giving up hope for that one.
Voy a por un poco de agua. Ya vengo, lo dejo con
So
David
in
Suki.
closing, community's healthy. We're working with you to reinvent storytelling and communication. We're We're growing all ages, we're growing around the world. The things people do on our platform are growing, and we talk a lot about expanding the economy to support you. We have an amazing show today, and it's such a privilege to hang out with all of you. So thank you for coming and enjoy the show.
Please welcome Roblox Chief Product Officer, Manuel Bronstein.
Hello, RDC. It's always amazing to hear from Builderman himself.
Bien, ya
He
vine.
talks about the vision for Roblox. So, last night, as I was preparing for my slides, I decided to check out doors. And oh my god, that thing's scary. I think I woke up my wife twice as I was playing the game. And if Elspeth is here in the audience, can you please meet me afterwards? I'm stuck in door 39 and I need some help. So, I'm Manuel, also known as Ellerix, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today. This is a community of trailblazers and innovators, and it's always a joy to be with you. And I want to start by just saying thank you. We wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for all of you. It's a community unlike any other. Creators small, creators who are big, creators who are just getting started, creators who are mentoring others, people who are hobbyists, people who are professionals. Look around you. Really, you're surrounded by genius. And it's really amazing for us to come to work every day knowing that we have such a passionate community. So truly, truly, thank you so much. This is an impressive slide. It's full of stats and milestones that we have all collectively achieved together. I'm very certain that each and every one of you hit a personal milestone in the last 12 months. And I want to take a moment to really recognize and celebrate the accomplishments that you have all brought to the platform. So let's give it a round of applause to all the amazing things that you have done. And I also love seeing you take advantage of the new technologies and the new features that we bring in the platform. Seeing more close to 1 million experiences enabling a spatial voice, or seeing people find their next partner or collaborator using the Talent Hub. It's just amazing. And I want to give you a very big stat. In the first half of 2022, we have collectively achieved more than 82 billion visits to Roblox experiences. That's more than 500 times the annual visitors to all Disney parks in the world. It's such a big number. And it gives me a ton of joy to see some experiences that were created just this year hitting impressive milestones. These 5 experiences collectively have had more than 1 billion visits in the first half of the year. Sonic Speed Simulator, Barry's Prison Run, Please Donate, Weapon Fighting Simulator, and Starving Artist. Let's give him a round of applause. And I want to share a fun anecdote of Please Donate. I went the other day to check it out. It's pretty amazing use of spatial voice. One user came to me and said, I'm going to sing for you if you can donate. The singing wasn't great, but I ended up donating anyways. So he got my money. Similarly, we're seeing other impressive stats for creators who are building items for Marketplace. More than 792 million
Esto no voy a
items
publicar
sold
nada
so
porque no
far
estoy
in the
entendiendo
first half
nada.
of the year. And here are some of the top items. Black Messy Hairstyle by DD Game Dev, Shadowhead by Maplestick, Mask of Madness, the red one, by Joral, Rainbow Flame Aura by Nesco, and Elf Ears with White Piercing. I think I have 2 or 3 of those in my inventory.
92
It's really, really amazing to see creators breaking through this year, and I'm sure that we're going to see a lot
en el
more.
2021.
This year, we also have for the first time at RDC an invaluable part of our community. These are the Roblox video creators. Collectively, they have exceeded more than 64 billion views of Roblox content in the first half of the year. Their fun videos highlight the experiences, the items, the updates, the events that you all create. And I want to thank them for helping Roblox content reach new audiences every day. It's pretty amazing to have them here. Welcome to RDC. And last but not least, I want to call out a special group of creators. These are people who go above and beyond to give back to the community. These are creators that help organize events. These are members of the Developer Council. These are Level Up panelists. You all are contributing not only your time, but your knowledge to make our community better. And I want to thank you for that as well. So, yes. One of the most rewarding parts of working at Roblox is to have a devoted community of creators that are always pushing us to be better. We come to work to Roblox every day to build the most amazing platform for you. And sometimes we may not get it perfect the first time, but your feedback, your candor, your help us actually make a better platform. And I'm very, very appreciative of the open communication channels that we have with the community. Let's take the example of our planned release for UGC materials. We decided in June 2021, we announced a plan to upgrade materials. And the initial plan would fully replace existing materials and later introduce the
Nuevos materiales.
But you gave us feedback. You told us that's not going to work for us. If you do it that
Los
way,
materiales, muy bien.
many of us will need to rework our
Está buenísimo.
experiences.
Los materiales
And
están
you also
buenísimos.
wanted more control. So we took a step back, we paused, and decided to work it out. And in 2022,
Más
we announced a
variantes
new
de
plan.
materiales
A plan that started with custom UGC materials,
para los UGC.
with amazing material managers that would give you more control. And we also decided to keep the old materials so you didn't have to rework your experiences. And your feedback was amazing. You told us that we got it right. But more exciting than getting the feedback is seeing the amazing creations that you're all bringing together with these new materials. Check it out. Some amazing environments and new worlds that are creating. And I cannot wait to see what you all do with this technology.
No, pero esto es una
It's gonna
pasada.
be fascinating.
A pesar de todo, sí, sí,
So,
me parece. No.
In that spirit, I want to share about a few things that we're working on to make the platform better. And let me start with the first goal. We want to build a platform that helps you realize your creative dreams. Our plan is to continue investing every day on the technology, on the tools, on the platform, until one day, anybody in the planet, everybody in the planet, can wake up and say, whatever I want to build, I can do that super easily on Roblox. You heard from Dave about the vision from the platform. You're going to hear later from Dan, our CTO, who's going to share a little bit of the tech and tools that we're bringing to market. But I also want to share some of the product investments and the programs that we have to help us achieve these goals. Let's start with cloud and collaboration. This is a
Bueno,
big one.
la cloud,
We have a vision where several
la nube
hundred
y la
person
colaboración.
teams come together to work in studios seamlessly, collaborating real time in the cloud. And they will be able to build experiences that are 100x, 10,000x larger or more complex. We also want to continue moving towards our open cloud, where all of our cloud the services and the data and the APIs that power Studio and power your experiences are available for you from anywhere, so that a next generation of tool chain and an ecosystem of rich tools can be built on the Roblox platform. I'm very excited about this. We also have pretty amazing creator events. And the cool thing about these events is that those are events created by the community for the community. Developers come together and maybe they listen to a podcast or they prepare a Q&A.
That's an event.
We have seen clothing design workshops. We have seen game jams. And since inception, we have seen more than 300 events happening with more than 16,000 attendants. And this has been happening all over the world, in countries like Indonesia, United States, India, and the UK. So we want to build more on the program. And what you're seeing on the slide is two big investments that we're going to make. The first one is we want to bring events to Guilded so that you can host an event for the community in your own Guilded channel. The second one, coming in 2023, is we want to give you space inside Roblox so that we can have events inside the platform. I can't wait to see what you guys do with it, and it's going to be very exciting. The second program that is super powerful in helping the community is our Level Up program. This is a very cool program where experienced creators, experienced developers are willing to share with the rest of the community the things that they know best, their best practices, their knowledge, their tips and tricks. We have seen level ups for level design, for economy and monetization design, for live ops, and also for marketing. And since creation, we have had 25 hours of
Vale,
content
que
across
mejorar
roundtables and
el
interactive
pago a los
workshops.
creadores.
From creators like Minitoons, The Gang, Maista, Freecraft, and the Wonderwork Studios. Thank you so much for all that work. And we want to make these events better next year. So what are we going to do? We're going to do live level ups so that you can interact directly with the community and with the people who are presenting. We're also going to start doing short form write-ups that we can share with the community on a more regular basis. So you can have best practices at your fingertips in a real nice cadence so that you can learn more about the platform. And we're also going to be using our Guilded platform to actually host events and have the community come together. Now, the game fund. All right. And there's some amazing trailer going on in the background. I'll let you watch it. But this program was created in 2021. And our goal was to provide monetary
Yo creo que el
support
invitado
to
especial
creators
tampoco es que
pushing the
hay que verlo.
boundaries of what could be done in the Roblox platform.
Son
People who are
45
pushing
minutos de
with
una
ambitious
persona que
visual
no
design, innovative gameplay, or using the latest Roblox tech.
No, 35 minutos.
We announced the fund with $25 million to support the pitches that were
Y
coming
después va a
from the
conseguirlo
community and also developers who were completely new to the platform. And we have seen an amazing collection of pitches. I mean, you're seeing the trailers here. These are some of the first few experiences that were greenlit in the program and are going to come to market soon, and I'm very excited to see them.
Bueno,
We
que
decided
mejorar.
to up our game. We're going to add another $10 million of funding to the development, to the game fund. So get it to $35 million. And applications are open. So if you have great pitches, please send them our way. I can't wait to see them. Yeah. So once you build something that you're proud of, once you realize your creative dreams, the next thing that we know you're thinking about is how am I going to grow my audience? How am I going to build my fan base? How am I going to bring more users to this experience? So I like to highlight some of the work that we're doing in this space. You heard from Dave talking about discovery, but I know this is a super hot topic with the community, so I wanted to share more with you. Our goal is very simple. We want to match users with content they will love. But we also want to help new and promising experiences to find an audience and grow. And the key to achieving that with all the content that is created on the platform is investing in personalization. And this is an area that is a long-term investment for us. We will keep investing in personalization for many, many, many years to come. People often ask me, so how do the recommendations work? And what we're trying to do with the recommendations is that we're trying to look at signals that predict whether a user will value the experience that we recommended to them. So then you may ask the question, so how do you measure value? Well, we look at retention, engagement, and monetization. And those signals help us understand if the experience is going to be a good recommendation for the user. So when you're thinking about recommendations, your best bet to improve them is to
Esta
work
parte es medio
on
aburrida.
retention, to work on engagement,
Es lo que tiene las
and to work on
conferencias.
monetization.
Me dan ganas de irte,
Great tools
pero
for you.
está muy aburrido.
Once an experience gets discovered, our continue playing and favorites help people re-engage with that experience. And we also have the friend list and the friend activity where people can find a new experience just by looking at what their friends are playing. So we have a lot of things actually helping new experiences to get discovered. And this is super exciting. We wanted to make sure that new experiences got discovered on the platform. How do we do that? So when new experiences and promising experiences launch, we gradually start exposing them to people, and as they show good results, we continue to expand. And what this graph is showing is that Out of our top 150 experience, 7% of them were created just roughly in the last 90 days, which is showing you that new experiences are getting opportunities to get discovered on the platform and thriving. But we want to keep investing here and continue to make it better. And last but not least, in the discovery section, we are working on improving discovery through sponsor experiences. Sponsor experiences were usually in the discover page. And very recently, we ran a test bringing sponsor experiences into the homepage. This is where most of our traffic and our audience is. And we saw an increase of 367% in ad conversion. I'm sure that some of you have seen the click-through rate improving in the homepage in this experiment, and we're going to keep iterating because we want to make this tool really useful for you so that you can get your content promoted and discovered on the platform. We also have these amazing Video Star programs.
Estoy diciendo
As
que
I
apareció
mentioned, it's a
RR.
vibrant community of video creators that are invested in Roblox. They collectively average more than 10 billion views every month. That's huge. 10 billion views. It's a big, big, big number. And when we talk to users, this is one of the most common ways in which people discover experiences, events, and updates on the platform. Some of the Roblox video stars have also become creators inside Roblox. They have created their collections of items, they have built their studios, and I can't wait to see what they do. We will continue to grow this program in two ways. One, we want to expand it to new geographies so that we can reach more people all over the world. And two, we want to expand it to other platforms like TikTok to reach our audience there as well and get more people coming into your experiences. And last but not least in this section is how do we think about communities? One of the things when I talk to you in the audience many times and ask questions, what's missing?
Vale, quiero mejorar los
I
perfiles
hear
ahora,
that
creo.
one of the things that you want is to be able to engage and build your community base, your fan base. How do you communicate with them? How do you grow and nurture that community? And I know that today you may have had to do that work outside of the Roblox platform, and that's not ideal. So with Gilded, we're working really hard to build the most amazing community platform for Roblox so that you can communicate with your audience, share when you have an update, share the news, link directly so that they can join the experience right away when you're actually announcing an update. You want to have channels to receive feedback, to people to submit bugs. You may want to have a calendar of events so that you can invite people to those different events. You may want to manage support issues. We're going to be working hand in hand with you, with the Roblox and Gilded team together, and we're going to be reaching out for your feedback and your ideas as we continue to build this. Stay tuned. This is going to be a pretty amazing area of investment for us. So, you build an amazing experience, you grew your audience, and now you really want to grow your business. You decided that you want to expand your studio. You want to hire more people. You want to maybe build a second team that is building a second experience. We want to help you along that journey. And the way we're going to do it is by giving you the insights, the information, and the tools so that you can build your business.
Realmente las personas que están ahí se están durmiendo mientras este chabón habla tranquilo.
There has been tremendous progress on creator analytics. Our goal is to provide you with the insights to make decisions that improve the engagement, the retention, and the monetization of your experience. So in Q1, we added the ability to break down retention by region, age group, and device.
Falta poco,
so
gente, El 25 termina la keynote y se viene el invitado especial que simplemente lo vamos a presentar y después hago una pausa y ya está.
So that you can understand where your experience, how your experience
Una pausa
compares to other experiences with similar player traits, and understand if you have gaps in retention. I believe that that information is going to help you to improve and get more information about how you need to work to actually reach some impressive milestones in retention. Secondly, is an area that I've also been hearing a lot about. Once you get retention, you want to grow. And one of the things that I heard from the community is that you want to know where your traffic is coming from. We call that source of traffic. So in the coming month, we're going to introduce what we're calling the acquisition dashboard. And you're going to be able to see when people come to the experience, which links which areas of Roblox send them or directed them to your experience. You're going to see if that traffic is organic. You're going to see if that traffic was through advertising or other sources. And this is an area that we're going to continue investing in because we know that by having that information, you can improve your funnels and you can actually make your traffic flowing into your experience even better and grow with it. We also, in June, introduced the monetization dashboard. This monetization dashboard allows you to see where your revenue is coming from so that you can optimize your experience and continue to grow your business. And in the next year, we're going to introduce what we're calling the real-time dashboard. It's going to allow you to look at the health of your experience in real time. You're going to be able to see at frame rate, crash rate, CPU utilization, and you're going to be able to make better decisions and choices of how you're building your experience. So with all of this, you're going to have great information at your fingertips, and this is an area that we want to continue to invest to give you even more insights and information as you grow. Now, let me talk a little bit about Marketplace. As Dave mentioned, we have a huge and growing transactional economy on Roblox. Just in June of this year, 2.7 million creators earned Roblox on the platform. So we ask ourselves the question, how do you make something
Bueno, mientras
that is good,
esta señora habla,
take it
podemos
to the
hablar un
next
poco
level?
de lo
Well,
que
two
ha pasado en esta
answers.
RDC.
We want to
Esta
open it up
RDC
to more
vimos
and more
una
and more
gran
creators,
trascendencia
and we won't stop until every single user on the platform
en
can eventually
Roblox.
publish and sell.
Por ejemplo, vimos,
That's our goal.
voy a ver todos los tweets
The
que yo
second
mandé
one is
porque
we
no me
wanna
acuerdo casi
introduce
nada, así que veamos.
true market dynamics into
Roblox
market.
quiere mejorar
What that
la carga
means
de
is that
mapa
we
porque
wanna
sabemos que
mimic
como en Minecraft, los
how
chunks
real
de
world
Minecraft
economies work
cargan
and build
mediante si te
bring
vas
that
acercando
energy
y a veces
and that feature set
se
into the
buguea
platform.
y tarda más y estás volando a
So
veces.
with that
Bueno,
idea in mind,
Roblox quiere
we're gonna be
mejorar
releasing
eso porque en
very
Roblox
cool
también
things
pasa.
in the coming months.
Entonces lo quiero mejorar para
The
que no
first
pase
one
eso.
is we wanna
Después
introduce
tenemos
scarcity.
el
El
chat de voz se vendrá con el head para hablar mientras la boca se habla y todo eso. Eso ya está en Roblox Studio para hacer animaciones, pero todavía no salió en las experiencias. Ya está a nada de salir. El mes o en noviembre, el mes que viene o en noviembre sale. Después tenemos la economía de los límites va a mejorar y habrá UGC límites. Además, con la reciente información de los últimos semanas, los UGC van a poder ser gratis. O sea que el creador que quiera meter un UGC gratis lo va a poder hacer próximamente. Bajando. Mientras esta persona no está hablando de nada importante, lo sé. Entonces vamos a ir, yo estoy haciendo un resumen mientras de todo lo que pasó hasta ahora. Roblox en el futuro quiere agregar, se quiere agarrar de conciertos musicales, educación, quiere agregar educación a Roblox y más cosas. Tenemos en el catálogo tenemos una cantidad de 1250 UGC más 792 millones de UGC comprados. Después tenemos una tasa de cuánto ganan los creadores en Roblox. Hasta ahora llegan a un 3,0% de las ganancias. Sería 3,0 millones en total por mes. Los creadores, no individual, en general. Y desde 2018 Roblox llegó a 58 millones de usuarios diarios. Eso es lo más relevante de la RDC hasta ahora. Ahora sigamos bien. Bueno, quiere... Ahora explico esto. Quiere meter más, algo más inmerso en las creaciones. Por ejemplo, los anuncios, por ejemplo. Que no sea tan invasivo como es en la página web. Ahora en las experiencias de Roblox va a haber algunos anuncios como estos, de comprar Roblox 3D. Sigue siendo invasivo, sí, pero uno lo puede editar a su propio. Uno seguramente en la DevRel debe estar ahí un objeto para poner este anuncio en tu juego. Pero bueno,
gonna
Ahí
be
tenemos
very,
una
very
imagen de cómo
amazing.
sería.
It's gonna be something that we're gonna start like usually iteratively working our way up. But I see a huge opportunity for all of you here, and I'm excited to see what we build. So there's a lot to be excited about. You heard me chatting about the work that we're doing to help you realize your creative dreams. You heard me talking about the work that we're doing to help you grow your communities. And you heard me talking about the work that we're doing to help you become a meaningful business. There's really no doubt in my mind that this world is ours for the making, and we're gonna make something amazing together. Thank you so much, and now I'm gonna have Dan Sturman come talk to you.
Please welcome Roblox Chief Technology
Perfecto.
Officer, Daniel Sturman.
Así se va uno de los creadores de productores y entra otro
Hello.
productores de comercio y ahora
Wow.
viene
So,
otra persona más,
This is
un
just
calvo.
amazing. This is my
15,
second
le
RDC.
quedan 10
I was
minutos
blown
para
away
hablar.
last year, but that was like, I don't know, a third the size of what we have here. This is just blows my mind. I'm Dan Sturman. I'm the Chief Technology Officer of Roblox. I'm also known as the King's Happy Fool. And I have the very distinct pleasure of taking all of you through what our engineering team has been doing over the past year and where we're going in the next. So we're over 1,000 strong now in engineering. So it's really grown as a team. And part of what makes this my really distinct pleasure is all 1,000 of those engineers, we all get up every morning psyched for what we can do to make you more productive and what we'll see you guys do with the crazy stuff we produce. And I'll call some of those out during the talk. Now, it is 1,000 folks, so we've actually gotten a lot done. There's a lot in this presentation I got to take you through. In fact, my prep pretty much was 3 shots of espresso and a Red Bull chaser to get ready for this. So I'm going to go kind of fast, and in some cases I'm just going to give you a word cloud with a bunch of things we're working on that I won't be able to go into today, but don't worry, they'll all be talked about in the sessions later on this week. So with that, let's dive right into it. Last year, we talked about things at RDC that we'd be doing this year. I want to give you an update on how those went. So of course, layered clothing, one of our biggest releases of the year and really a game changer. It's a game changer from a tech point of view. No one else has really done this before. And it's also a game changer for how you can be expressive on the platform and how you approach it as creators. We now have the ability that our users can take, mix and match any items and layer them on their avatar. And in fact, over half of our daily actives are using at least one layered clothing item. Just curious, how many folks here have equipped layered clothing stuff on their avatars, right? You saw my avatar at the beginning, definitely it's using that. It's really cool. And then it's also a game changer for creators because we're going to be introducing, as you see here, all sorts of cool, strange bodies that you can design an item once and it can work on any avatar. So you're not pigeonholed into some sub-market, but you can just make your items that can be awesome and let our users be creative with it and figure out where they want to go. Okay, facial animation. You saw some of this with Dave's awesome demo before, but this is a game changer also in avatar expressiveness. And you'll hear about it a lot over the next 2 days, and you'll see a lot of things over the next year and more on how we're taking this elemental technology and applying it all over the place. The general idea is heads are equipped, we call them dynamic heads, with the ability to do facial animation, and it can be any head. We've introduced this in Studio so you can create and publish new heads to the platform. It'll be our classic heads, it'll be dinosaur heads, it'll be alien heads. We also launched what we call auto skin transfer. This stuff like the beard you see in there, it can be eyelashes, eyebrows, it can be hair. Though personally I'm a little less invested in the whole hair thing, but I think a lot of you will be.
Estamos hablando.
Anyway, so this is going to be an elemental tool that allows us to do all sorts of expressiveness on the platform.
Bueno, edición.
Chat with spatial voice. You saw the demo before with just doing doing the whole thing with the dynamic heads and so on, but spatial voice was introduced this year and we've launched it. We're really thrilled that so far we have 2.5 million 13 plus verified users signed up for spatial voice. It's been incredibly popular. We have up to 50 player limits and experiences. We're looking to scale that to 100 and more over the course of the year. So this is one of my favorite features, and I'll explain why in a minute, but this is about our new materials and the way you can use them and customize them. So the idea here is we introduced this concept of PBR materials, or physically based rendering materials. They just have, in a sense, layers within them.
Bien, las animaciones
Light
faciales.
reflection, much better, more realistic use cases with these materials. So you can see, for example, from Infinity LT, how much more realistic that looks. And this is why I love it, because I am a terrible, terrible artist. Absolutely horrible. I might be able to code, but I cannot do art. I was able to go into my own experience, apply these materials, all of a sudden looked like I had some skill, and I just really loved that. But what we also realized as we were rolling this out is all of you have put a lot of thought and time into what your experiences look like. So we can't just roll out a bunch of new materials. We have to give you absolute control on how materials impact your experiences. So we came up with this material manager and the ability to do custom materials. Now you can
Bueno, ya termina la keynote, ya se está por terminar. Ya tomaré un descanso y lo dejo con un invitado especial. 35 minutos y vuelvo. Necesito comer. Bueno, nuevos materiales, edición del estudio, bueno, algo normal. La carga de materiales nuevos.
Pretty cool, right? Okay, Dave mentioned this as well, but real-time CSG is one of the things we're really excited about long-term. And in fact, this is the start of something you'll be hearing about called in-experience creation, and we have a bunch of features that are building up towards this. So the idea behind in-experience creation is you don't have to be outside of Roblox or in studio to create cool stuff. You can be doing this as, in a sense, a player in the game, but you're creating. And maybe you can take that onto the platform for something on your avatar or your friend's avatar. So real-time CSG, we went, and with CSG v3, we are now 100 times faster than we can do. And you can see this with this lathe example. This is the old world right here. It's clunky, it's slow. And now look how smooth this is. The lathe has been something internally we've been focused on forever. Yeah, no, it's very cool, and it's very hard.
RDC, termina con más noticias aburridas, pero bueno.
So speed, performance is a feature. I talked about Project Harmony last year, and we're continuing on that. This is going to be a long journey for us, but one we're super excited about. So a lot of features up here. I'm not going to go in them all, but Dave mentioned things like parallel Lua and 10 times faster raycasts. We're also doing
cosas que quieren ampliar. El paralelo que ya lo habíamos visto, el CSG, el terreno, la fuente de streaming, bueno, el hardware, bueno, cosas que ya había dicho en el resumen que había hecho, algo rápido, pero bueno, son cosas simples pero que son importantes. Catálogo ZZZ. Ojo, ya salió. Ya salió el ítem limited al catálogo. Muy bien. Ya salió.
This idea of the universal app. And we've seen great results as now we've rolled this out to Windows and to Mac, on top of course, iOS and Android. And this is going to give us a bunch of new capabilities. First of all, it gives us one system to bring to any platform. And from an internal engineering point of view, we can be much more efficient in tackling new platforms
universal.
And then optimize them so we say, oh, this is the part that's got to look different on Windows, and we'll be able to tweak that, and this is the part on the phone. But meanwhile, bringing all the goodness for the things that are common very quickly to the platform. It's also our biggest dog food to date. We've built all of this in Lua. We're like, if our creators are living in Lua, we need to live in Lua. That's how we ensure it's fast, effective, expressive, and we can continue to optimize and understand the world you're living in. Okay, studio. You all spend countless hours in studio, so it's important we continue our investment there. And we've done this thing this year we're calling the Studio Design Refresh. It starts with new fonts, new icons, basically a new look and feel that I think is really cool, and it works for high definition monitors, which I'm sure most of you have access to at this point, right? So if you have that great display, why not use it, right? And we want Studio to be able to support that.
Veamos,
this is rolled out to about 30 to 50%.
Estamos dando noticias muy interesantes. App universal. Ojo, Roblox Studio plugins.
So that's rolled out, and with it also is this whole idea of a complete rework of the docking system. It's much more flexible. It does the right thing. It's so much more intuitive. A responsive ribbon, and the whole thing scales based on how you move the studio layout around. It doesn't do dumb things like clipping off important controls on the screen. The whole thing is going to be faster. It's more customizable. We think that makes you more productive, and I hope you find the same thing. It'll be rolled out to everyone shortly. Okay, so that was the stuff we talked about last year. There's been a whole bunch of things that either were being sneaky and we didn't tell you about last year, which is really code for my engineers had no idea if they'd landed, right? Or we picked it up partway through the year. So I want to take you through some of those items. So a few, first of all, just graphic stuff out of our great engine team. I want to start with lighting and occlusion. You can just see the effect here. When the moon is bright, you can see that glare reflecting off those leaves.
Bueno, noticias es que ya a final de este año ya no se va a necesitar premium para tradear. Muy bueno. Hay que ver si para revender, pero para tradear no.
Shadows are sharp and precise. When it gets cloudy, it gets much more diffuse. And that's the effect we all want. And again, something the engine should do for you. You shouldn't have to spend a lot of time tweaking that. Particles are really cool, whether it's for fire, smoke, arbitrary special effects. We think you do a lot of cool things with particles, and you can see what Emily Ben Space did here with fire, kind of going from the old world to what we're able to do with this like awesome new, really hot fire in the new example.
Quieren mejorar las animaciones.
You can have bubbles that grow and pop. It's a lot more flexibility for those kind of special sort of tweaks within your experience. So this is something I'm really excited about, both for what we did this year, but with the future of this. And you'll be hearing a lot from all of us over the next few years. This whole idea that deep learning techniques can start to really accelerate creation on the platform. It's really, I mean, a lot of this is going on Roblox, deep in our technical teams and our research organization, but also in the world, that we're in a mode where this tech is just coming to the point where it can do tremendous things. And you can see right here, look how much easier it is to go and do a dance to animate an avatar. Or if you're like me, get one of your more coordinated friends to do a dance to animate your avatar, right? And then just transfer it directly. And then, of course, you can fix it up and tweak it as you go. And notice this is applying to all sorts of different avatar bodies and all sorts of different avatar faces. Same thing with faces, by the way. And this is where those dynamic heads and facial animation are so important. Now we have a common standard. We can build something like this, where deep learning watches your face on camera on any head that's rolling out under this new system.
Las dynamic head.
So I'm really excited about these two. You can imagine putting together a concert in one of your experiences where you capture a singer dancing on stage just with these two tools. No fancy mocap suits, nothing like that. It's accessible.
Yo tengo un problema que no me deja usarlo, no sé por qué.
Okay, so we've also heard you about how difficult it is to kind of tweak in the animation editor, and that you get really jerky animations with kind of straight interpolation.
Quiero mejorar las animaciones.
I say that
algo
the video
mejor.
is a little jerky itself, but ignore that. If you went and played with this, these curves we've added into it make things much smoother, and you can again control them. It's all about control for the creator. So you'll be able to take the curves, tweak them, get exactly the interpolation you want between points. It means you don't have to make a bazillion points in each of these animations. Another concern we've heard a lot from you, nothing's more frustrating than you've got a great experience, you made it successful, and a bunch of annoying copycats come along and grab it and build these things that just start to steal your traffic. So we've really been starting to focus on preventing experience cloning, and we've got a bunch of new models that are working really well in this domain. It's, again, going to be something we work on for quite a while, though. So, for example, here, you can have some clones. We now have a new pipeline, and we've taken down 40,000 clones just since we deployed this stuff in late April. So it's already engaged. We're going to keep ramping it up. We're going to keep getting new models, and our goal is to make this cloning a thing of the past. A lot of other stuff we've been doing. It's one of these word clouds. I wish I could go into all of them. You can find great Roblox devs around the place. This week there'll be talks and so on. I'll go into more details, please. Okay, now I want to talk about a set of things that we continue to work on. What I mean by this is we've done some good progress this year, but we view these all as big multi-year journeys.
Las copias, claro.
And they're kind of big things. We'll never be done.
La prevención de copias.
We're really excited. We want to give you an update on where we are on them. So I mentioned the universal app before as something we promised we'd deliver this year. Now that we've done that, we're on to the next big phase. First, let's make it hum. Let's make it really perform. So real big improvements in app launch time, drops and crashes, particularly on the mobile devices where it's so tricky. Doing things like seamless app background in iOS so you can respond to a text without losing Roblox. All incredible improvements, and we're going to keep pushing on performance on the universal app. At the same time, we're also saying, hey, we've got this universal app. Any improvement we make here will go to everyone. So new inexperienced menus being worked on is the next step. New ways to navigate in the app. Some will make more sense on different platforms. Setting ourselves up for more platforms. Here, I'm not going to go into detail, but you should know now that we've got the Universal app, we're going to take it out for a drive. Platforms are much easier for us to port to. We're going to be looking particularly at more consoles, touching on things like VR. We now have the tool we need, so it's not a massive rework of all of Roblox in order to get onto one of these new platforms. And Studio, Dave mentioned this before, Manuel mentioned it, about collaboration being so key. So now collaboration is just one click away within Studio, and you're collaborating instantly. All new places by default are created as team create, and then we're moving in some directions that are going to make it really so much easier to collaborate. The first one's my favorite, which is a detailed version history. I'll admit, I even need this when I'm just working by myself because I'll mess things up and have no idea how I did it. But you can see what's changed, who's changed it, why is your experience looking the way it is, and then a bunch of tools to help you understand what your collaborators are doing on the platform. Where are they entering? What place are they in? What are they working on so you don't step on their toes? All that being visible kind of from a 3D point of view. I think this stuff's going to be really cool and enable really big teams. And one thing you should know is we're going to continue, I don't have a lot of time here, we're going to continue heavy
Ya termina. Debería haber ya terminado, pero no sé por qué sigue.
We also already think it's pretty rocking, but we know we can't stop. You guys are all a very demanding audience in a very good way. And so there's going to be a lot of features here. The ones in purple are ones we launched this year. Blue are things that we're working on for next year. The main thing you should take away is the big team behind it, and we're really serious about it. Okay, and packages. Told you last year under the section of things we didn't deliver, hey, we kind of have to scrap packages and go back to the drawing board. That's exactly what we did. We basically threw out the back end, rebuilt it, rebuilt the user experience. It's now so much more stable and so much easier to use, no errors. And now we're able to do things like say, hey, let's put packages into the UGC marketplace so you can sell them to each other. We have the system we're looking for that allows us to share collaborative content
Sí, este es el invitado especial, creo.
That's you guys on your own teams just sharing it with each other. I create a tree we're going to use. I'm going to tweak it as we go. Whether it's sharing it with each other through the marketplace or other mechanisms, or it's Roblox saying, hey, we have some example content we want to share with the community.
Sí, definitivamente
As
es
the
el
next
invitado
step on this,
especial.
we're moving to this concept of package interfaces. As the next step on this, we're moving to this concept that can be attached to a package. Where someone picks it up, they can just tweak the package by the parameter package.
Ok, entonces voy a hacer una pausa, los voy a dejar con este chabón y ya vengo. Me tengo que ir. Un segundo, a comer.
I talked last year about Open Cloud, how important that was to us. Dave talked a lot about the cloud. We want to put everything there. We've made great progress on it this year. So this year, we opened up the data store API, we added cross-server messaging API, we've added group API key support, and it's in beta now, OAuth 2 support for authenticating yourself through these APIs. So all really cool stuff that opens up all sorts of things for you guys to build auxiliary tools. Next steps, where we're going this year, a really big one is the full asset API, including the ability to upload kind of from anywhere, any asset type. So I'm really excited about that. We're also opening up memory store API. You can see uses for a back-end system, helping coordinate your matchmaking, for example, which is a great use of memory stores. And this is really cool. And back to the in-experience creation, in-experience authentication. A user will be able to authenticate themselves from a platform point of view while inside one of your experiences. It can just hit that API and do it. So a lot of power in all of these things, and we're just going to keep going. Docs. If you're anything like me, I can hold a thought in my head about 10 seconds. Right? So I'm always referring to docs whenever I'm coding, particularly when I'm coding on Roblox. And we heard loud and clear from you that our docs were not where you wanted them to be. We've put a lot of investment here. It started with a revamped doc site, and with that behind the scenes, we've really scaled our internal docs team this year. There's a lot more people on that team, and you need people to get this done well. We're now focused on things like cloud APIs, getting those well documented, and they'll continue to go. Over the course of the year, you're going to see us translating to 15 languages, so they're available in the languages you're using. And then beyond that, and this is a really cool thing, we're going to open source all this so that we can take contributions to the docs and fix the docs directly from the community. Because I know so many of you said, I see you got this wrong, it could be so much better, here's my idea, and there's no way for you to give that to us. So we're going to enable that. Yeah, right? Good docs make everything. We have this vision around a creator marketplace. And the idea behind the marketplace is that it is the way you can all share and to some degree profit from great creations beyond just your experiences with each other, building a community. But that's not going to work if you guys don't trust this marketplace. So we're hard at work making the marketplace much safer. We've taken down almost 50 million malicious or copycat assets just in 2022. We've gotten to the point now where spam has been reduced by 90%, and insertions are now almost, we're so close, almost so close to 99% safe. That's up from 83% a year ago, and we're going to keep pushing on all of these stats. We are not happy with these. We're going to keep going, but it's a huge improvement, and it's telling you where we're trying to go with this thing. Right? As some next steps, we're going to make it so you can know when a verified creator, and that's ID or phone verified creator, basically has created one of these. So you kind of know who you're getting it from. It's at least someone who Roblox knows who they are. And we're going to really go hard against code plagiarism over the course of the next year. So all your users basically communicate with each other and love your experiences through chat in the experience. It's just a big part of being on Roblox. It's a social platform, right? So one of the biggest challenges we had, it used to always be this trade-off of, well, we need to keep them safe, we need to do filtering, but then they get less expressive, and this was no fun for anyone. We completely revisited our models and adopted new techniques here, where we found we could both make chat safer and less restrictive. It's a win-win. This year in English, 27% less filtering, while safety metrics went up at the same time. And we have similar results for Spanish, Portuguese, French, and German. As a next step, we're going to push even harder on that. We think we have another easy 25%, again, reducing the amount of filtering while improving safety. So we're really excited about where this could take the platform as a social platform. And look, we've heard loud and clear from you that it's just getting difficult to create a really competitive game on Roblox because of cheating. So it's a focus for us. We have a good team on this. We have a long ways to go. We're changing direction, though. In the past, we'd all about what can we do to the client in order to make it harder to cheat. And we're going to continue to do some of those things, but we don't have control of the client. Once they have the code, they're making the calls, you can do anything to it if you're clever enough. So we're really starting to turn our focus as well to server-side cheat prevention, and we think this can really help an incredible amount. I almost put the email address of the manager for our anti-cheat team on the slide, but I was told that wasn't cool. So, but we're going to make sure we're talking to all of you about that. In fact, along those lines, one of the things we realized we need to do is this needs to be a partnership. So we're going to be spinning up teams to build specific developer tools, and we're going to be talking to a bunch of you, like, what tools do you need to work with us so we can combat this together? And lastly, and this is a broad thing safety-wise, we're really starting to go after alt accounts. If we find someone's behaving badly and we ban them from the system and they can just pop in again, that doesn't do any of us any good, right? So we're really getting better at understanding, yeah, you think it's alt, we don't think it's alt. We know who you are, right? And we're going to be focused on that from a prevention point of view. Okay, a few quick things. There's some stuff we always do behind the scenes. Dave touched on this, both from scale and reliability. You don't see these as features in the app, but they're very important. So we had a really big outage Halloween last year. I'm sure you all remember. Another one on May the 4th. It's an area we're really focused, and our focus has been really how do we avoid the biggest, most catastrophic issues. In the past, we centrally homed all our data in Chicago, and that worked for us at Roblox to that scale. Since then, we have built a second full data center in Ashburn, and we can manually fail over from Chicago to Ashburn, allowing us to deal with anything catastrophic that really happens in Chicago. Really important step. But we're going beyond that to a world that is what we call an active cellular data center, where both data centers are running at once. It's not a matter of failing over. We have capacity in both, and we're breaking these data centers into smaller units we call cells that are completely isolated units, so they can fail independently unless the whole building blows up or something along those lines. So we have a lot of room there. So reliability is going to continue to be a focus of the team going forward. We're doing all that while we're massively scaling Roblox. So our edge capacity, all the POPs, data centers, edge data centers out there have grown 72%. Our bandwidth in and out of Roblox is up to 3.1 terabits a second. That's a 55% growth year over year. It's basically like we're a modest-sized telco company at this point. And our overall server capacity has grown by 113%, so it's more than doubled. And we're just going to continue to scale it, so there's always the capacity you need. And again, you never need to worry about the capacity. We're just going to continue to scale it, so there's always the capacity you need. So that took some time. That was what we did this year. I'm now going to jump into just some sneak previews of what's coming up next year. And for most of it, I don't have the time to talk about it, so another word cloud. But I'm going to dive into a few of these. Approved account authentication. Nothing's worse for a user than when they lose their account, it gets stolen, hijacked, or they can't otherwise recover it. That's just an incredible bummer. They've worked all this time in your experiences to build up their character or whatever it is, and then they lose it. So we're starting in this past summer with more prompts for either cell phone, number, or email, so we can help them recover. Because when they don't have that stuff attached to their account, there's almost nothing we can do when they call us up in tears saying, I can't get my account back. How do we prove it? How do we know? And so on. Moving beyond that, though, once we have those, we can actually move it so we can take passwords, which I personally hate, out of the system. You can just sign in with phone or with email. We think that's going to be a lot more secure than passwords. Passwords appear on the dark web. They're just kind of old school. Most users kind of repeat the same password over and over and over again. So we're trying to get away from that. And then another thing that's been a big problem is this whole idea of web cookie theft. And in early 2023, we're going to roll out hardware-backed, unexfiltratable cookie tokens that replace cookies. The idea here is all our devices have the ability to create and store safely these tokens. If you use that, it's not something a hacker can grab or even ask you to give them. It's so much more secure. Oh, and this is a fun one. I just love this because you guys really taught us this one. So let me just set this up a little story. It's Saturday morning. We're hitting a new peak load. All of engineers cheering, yeah. And then one of you goes and says, now's a great time to push a new update to my game to close the whole thing, and we'll have 1 million players want to rejoin right away. And at first, we just thought you hated us and you wanted to torture us, as we get these thundering herds storming into our matchmaking system and our scheduling system. And then we said, wait, no, they're geniuses. What they've figured out is this is the best way to promote a new feature, a new capability, and they're amping the crowd. This is wonderful, so we got to support it. And that's one of the things we're focused on this year. So before, the only way we could deal with this was this really haphazard matchmaking, putting people back into random instances as fast as we possibly could. We're now going to make it so we do an outstanding job of matchmaking. Our goal this year is to be able to do 1 million matches and deployments in under 10 seconds. Okay? And we're going to do that by basically taking a snapshot of where you're at and using that for 60, 80% of the work, giving us plenty of capacity to handle the rest of that. So like I said, 1 million in 10 seconds is where we're aiming on this. So go and close all the games you want and restart them. We'll handle it. I know reviews for moderation can be a real pain for you. We're really working on both speeding it up and upping the quality. To give you an idea of the scale, each and every day we're doing about 500,000 image moderations and about 15,000 audio. But we're starting, again, deploying new tech that's making this much more efficient. At this point, the new stuff is is doing an auto review of about 1/3 of the images, and we're starting to deploy this for audio as well. We expect to ramp this up and have a lot more be auto machine-based, so we can go much faster, and you're not waiting around for that image to be available to use in your experience. Some improvements in Creator Marketplace. I mentioned how we want to make it safe before, but then we want to go beyond that. So any verified creator will be able to sell plugins in the marketplace. We want to go, again, to packages and models being available for sale so you can share work with each other, again, in a super safe way. We're going to allow rich media in the description so you can actually understand what the heck this thing is as you look around and have a great description for it. And then also something we're starting to experiment with, we're really excited about, this idea of more flexible payment methods. A one-time purchase works for certain sorts of things. But let's say it's a great plugin that really improves productivity, that should be a subscription model, maybe a freemium model. Right? So we're going to enable these in the marketplace as well. So you guys have a lot of flexibility and a whole new way to share content with each other. Connecting with your users, also really important to all of you. I mean, they're your customers. They're the ones who make you guys successful. And one of the best ways to do that, we think, is some sort of notification to them. So we're going to be looking to build out the ability to have custom notifications even when someone isn't in your experience. So imagine, hey, your best friend just beat your high score. This new magic egg's about to hatch, right? And you can let them know about that even when they're not in your system, in your experience. Also, custom social invites. So imagine not a general Jeremy wants to be your friend, but Jeremy just knocked on your house's door. Do you want to join him, right? And kind of bringing people back in on an event basis. We think it will allow you guys to really take this and drive up engagement in all of your experiences. Good stuff. One graphic thing I want to call out, it's been a frequent dev complaint, is like water sticking jello-like in our shorelines. You can just see the before and after. I don't think I have to say a whole lot how much better this gets, right? And you heard Manuel and Dave talk about immersive ads. There's a lot of cool tech behind this. Of course, matchmaking and teleport's got to get really fast. Understanding when has someone looked at a billboard and like how do we count that as an ad is really important. There's a lot of stuff we're going to be building for this. We're very excited, as the others mentioned, about what you guys can do with this in your experiences in a uniquely Roblox way that just, again, drives engagement and spending on the platform. And then I want to end with chat. Dave did that awesome demo. I'm not doing a live demo. He's gutsier than I am, I guess. But what I want to call out here is this is the culmination of a few years of really hard-hitting technology. So we have layered clothing, we have facial animation, we have spatial voice, all coming together in a multi-year, in a sense, technical effort that I think you'll only ever find on Roblox. It's going to be really unique. It's really unique to this 3D platform, and I'm incredibly excited to see what all of you do with these capabilities. So with that, I wanted to thank you. I wanted to thank you for putting up with this incredibly long list of things I just ran through. But I also wanted to thank you for being the incredible community you are. Like, on behalf of all of engineering, you guys are the reason we get up every morning. You guys motivate us, and we know that you'll hold us accountable, but you'll also be appreciative when we do something great, and you'll stick with us when we have a little slip like we did around Halloween last year. So again, we're extremely thankful. I'll be around the next 2 days. I hope to talk to you as many as I possibly can.
Ya volví, ya está por a punto de aparecer el invitado especial en el momento justo, en el momento indicado. Así que acá estoy para ver a los invitados especiales.
Please welcome back Roblox founder and CEO David Baszucki and Microsoft's Chief Technology Officer Kevin Scott.
Ojo, David Baszucki con Michael. De Microsoft.
All right, everyone. We have quite a treat for you. Kevin, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Kevin really embodies a lot of the values in what we're doing here. And there's an interesting coincidence in that Kevin has been at AdMob, has been at Google, has been at LinkedIn, has been at Microsoft. And a fun fact for those of you that remember, we used to have that office in downtown San Mateo. We worked in the same space at one time.
Yeah, it's like really shocking. Yeah. I had no idea Roblox was at 60 East 3rd Avenue in San Mateo.
Yeah, so small coincidence. So we're going to talk about all things innovation and all things visionary, but maybe just to kick it off, Kevin, how did you get into this? How did you get into engineering?
I think the same way that a lot of folks my age did. So I'm 50 years old now. So I was I started becoming interested in making things when I was 10, 11, 12 years old. And like the most interesting thing to make back in the early 80s were programs on the personal computers that were emerging at the time. And like interestingly, the thing that most captivated my imagination were video games. So like that's the thing I wanted to figure out. Like how do I go make my own video games? Because these are such fascinating things. And then it just went from there.
I learned on Apple II. What did you learn on?
I learned so Apple II's
Ahora, en un
TRS-80s
ratito
were
empieza el
what the,
almuerzo, 10
school
minutitos.
had
Esto
that I
es
was
un
at,
ratito
and
y
the
almuerzo,
very first
descanso
computer that I
y
had
se
for
viene
my,
el ítem
self
gratis de
that I saved
Spotify.
up for 2
Lo vamos a
summers to
conseguir
buy
en vivo y
was,
en directo.
a Radio Shack Color Computer 2.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
Y voy a
like a
subirlo a
beige
YouTube,
case
obviamente.
with the chiclet keys that you hooked up to, like in my case, a 13-inch television, and you saved and loaded your programs on to and from cassette tapes. So like super high tech.
So my very first place, the very first place I ever programmed a computer was in a teletype terminal in our middle school.
Yep.
And the storage
mientras hablan,
medium was a paper
mi
tape
invitado
with
especial
holes in it.
es
Yep. So I hope that doesn't
Kevin
date
Scott,
me
el de
too
Microsoft.
much, but it sounds like. Okay, so let's talk innovation, right? AdMob went on to be one of the leading mobile ad platforms in the world. So you see what we're doing. We're trying to innovate there as well. I think AdMob was arguably hyper innovative at the time. Was there a time when you realized what we're inventing here? That there's something here that never been done before.
Yeah, I mean, at AdMob, like, our goal in life wasn't to stuff little rectangular ad units onto small screens. The problem that we were trying to solve is that, and this was in 2006, 2007, before the iPhone was even on the market, and Android was a different thing than it is today. It was just really, really hard if you were a developer or content creator to get something done on a mobile device. You had to go cut a deal with a carrier, convince them to distribute you on their deck, so like they controlled everything about the experience and the access to like services on their phones, and even if you did find a way to get a carrier to give you distribution, like you had no real way to monetize, like you had to build all of that yourself. And so that was the problem we were trying to solve, like how to give developers and content creators a way to get themselves distributed, and once they had an audience, how do you get paid? And yeah, I think we were by far and away at the time the biggest mobile ad network. And like it was still like I joined Google when we were 300 engineers, and like we were 7,500 engineers 4 years later, and so like Google grew crazy fast. AdMob's the fastest growing thing I've ever been involved with. Like we were doubling every 5 months. And then when you joined Google, what was it like in those early days? Chaotic. Really? but fun. So we had so many interesting problems, and the environment was structured where you could just sort of gravitate to the thing that was most interesting. And I had been, I had spent most of my 20s thinking that I was going to be a computer science professor. So I took a leave of absence, which turned into like dropping out of my PhD program to join Google because I wanted to do something that was going to matter to more than just 100 people. And so once I got to Google, like I just remembered why I had left academia, and I just tried to find the things that were going to have the most impact, which weren't necessarily always the sexiest things, but they all turned out to be technically very interesting. So when we talk about innovation, and a lot of the people here are creating studios, trying to do things that have never been done before, trying to have and I would say on our platform, we time and time again see things that have never been done before. Roblox, in a sense, is an innovation culture in that studio space as well as our own engineering space. Are there any tips that you might have for the studio creators around innovation culture? Yeah, I mean, for a whole lot of years I've thought about innovation as just sort of where creativity meets user need. And as a consequence, like if you want to build an environment that encourages innovation, like you really want to think about both of those. So like how do you build an infrastructure, a culture, an ethos that lets you figure out how to discover that user need. And everybody does it differently. Like some companies create user need by like building the products that they can build and then marketing them super effectively. Some companies like discover the user need by like shipping things really quickly and getting a lot of data back from user interaction with them and then sort of iterating to great. But whatever it is, like you have to have a hypothesis about like how to discover that user need and then just sort of set your culture and your infrastructure up to go explore it. And the same thing with, you know, the creativity side of things. Like creativity, I think, I mean, I believe you and I chatted about this, like I really believe it's like a muscle. So it's not always that every creative thing you do is an innovative thing, but like just trying to be in a process where you are creative every day, like you're trying to do something creative, sets you up for like getting into that flow, and then making sure, I mean, like I think about creativity from an engineer's perspective, so like the things that prevent me from getting into that creative flow are like things that I like to eliminate, both in the tools that I build and the infrastructure platforms. Like you just want to get rid of the friction.
So for the creators out here, there's typically two sides to creation. One side is the crazy idea that no one's ever done before, and then the other one is metrics, iteration, metrics, iteration. And there was a time about maybe 9 years ago when a lot of game companies were thinking they were going to iterate their way to success, and they were going to just throw something out there and then metric, iterate. And then on the other side of the spectrum, there's a lot of creators who just have a huge vision, and no one's ever done it before, and the vision is so powerful, you get a topological leap, and is there a way to think about being aware of both sides of this? Is one better than the other? Do you need both? Are they both good?
Look, I think in every endeavor you need both. Like there's no way to iterate yourself towards great if like you don't have a good idea in there somewhere, or like have a good starting point or good sense for like even how to pivot things once the data is telling you something. Because oftentimes like the data tells you like very uninformative things. It's binary. It's like, okay, you try something, it's like didn't work, and like you don't learn. So there are ways to design your experiments where you get something more than just a binary back that like helps point you in a direction. But like you have to have some real thing that you're passionate about that is your insight. Like I don't think you can fully mechanize that part of the process. Like the mechanical bits I always think about are like just getting the friction out of the system. Like if you have an idea, it's one of the things that's great about your platform. So like you built all of this infrastructure that tries to remove friction from people like getting an idea in front of users. And like that's ultimately what it's all about. Like you can't delude yourself about, oh, like my idea is great, and like you sit on it forever, launch it to users, and then you know maybe it's a terrible idea. So like just figuring out how to connect with that user need is really crucial.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a personal theory that every really big thing needs some element of topological innovation. Like every, and I would say companies like Disney, for example, topologically innovated with theme parks, and other companies we can think of made innovations in that. Do you think that's a real theory, and do you think it applies to our developer community?
Yeah, I think so. Like there are certainly ways that you can structure environments to encourage creativity in that topological way. Like one of the things I would like highly recommend to everyone is on Disney Plus right now there is a documentary called Lights and Magic that is like a 6-episode history of industrial light and magic. It's phenomenal. Like at the very worst, like you'll watch it and like feel all kinds of wonderful nostalgia. But like if you really pay attention to what they did. Like it's basically a story of innovation, and it's just staggering what they were able to do. Like almost everything about modern cinema like was produced because of the outrageous things, or things that seemed outrageous that they were doing.
Yep.
It just and there's been a bunch of people who've written about this over the years. So Arthur C. Clarke wrote this thing in the 60s called the Profiles of the Future, and it's where his 3 laws, like he postulated, the one everybody's familiar with, is like any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. But the super insightful thing that he said in Profiles of the Future is that every innovative thing that we take for granted right now, somebody thought was impossible at some point. Yep. And so like a large part of innovation is just sort of having the courage to like go over that frontier of what's impossible to possible. And it's scary. And like so many people will tell you that you're dumb or idiot, it's not going to work. Like I still get this all the time. Like I've been working on a whole bunch of AI things for the past 4 years, and when I started 4 years ago, like so many people, super smart people were like, yeah, this is never going to work, this is impossible. And if you can't persevere through that, like you just never create the things that are remarkable.
So let's talk a little about your book, Reprogram the American Dream. And I want to share an experience that I had with my daughter, who's an artist. And I don't know if you've all played with Dolly or Crayon or other tools like this, but for those of you that are in the audience, creators or developers, it was really freaky. She gave me a cloud of about 13 words, and then she showed me a ultra high resolution image of forest, moss, mushroom, hobbit cabin that looked as if it came straight out of a Tolkien movie or something like that.
Yep.
And it freaked me out. What will our developers and creators have jobs in 10 years?
Oh, you absolutely will have jobs. In fact, like I think they're going to be more people consuming more of the content that you produce, and you're going to be able to produce more and more delightful things for people using these tools. And so this was sort of the point of the book that I wrote, which is
Bueno, mientras esperamos,
the AI systems that we're building right now
ya va a terminar,
are just
ya
tools
cumple horario,
built by
o sea,
human
que ahora debería
beings.
ser el almuerzo, pero bueno, vamos
Like
a
we
esperar que
may
termine
get to AGI
esta
someday, like
conversación.
things that are just like very generally like look like human intelligence, but like what we're building today are things that
Ten en cuenta
are
que
useful for
ahora
solving
debería
like
ser
really particular
el launch.
problems, or like that can help you
Ya
perform a
está por empezar.
task, but they need direction.
ser el
Like
launch.
DALL-E.
Do you think there'll be a future where a Roblox developer creating something what ends up being super important, in addition to the 3D model or the texture, is the way they describe what they want, and will that become a new talent in addition to 3D modeling?
Yeah, look, I think probably so. Like, I think there were like 3 really interesting things that happened in AI last year. So one of them was DALL-E and these diffusion models that are like everybody's super interested. One was Codex, which is a model built on top of OpenAI's GPT that is powered, it's already powering a GitHub Copilot, which is a coding assistant. And then like to give credit to Demis at DeepMind, like the work that they did to produce a protein structure database for like every known protein to like biology. Like I think those are like 3 extraordinary things. The first 2 are like very specifically tools that let you create in new ways. And so like I don't know how many of you use GitHub Copilot. Most of the people that I talk to who are daily users of Copilot are like, oh my God, this is great. Like I love this tool, even when it's not like perfect. It's
So
it's just a useful part of their job. Like, I don't know that it ever gets to the point where the thing is the whole programmer. Like, I suspect not.
How far could it go? So we've brainstormed that, first off, we treat with a radical level of respect the code of all of the creators on the platform. And we treat with a radical level of security that code, but there is a possibility the cumulative knowledge in that code, if appropriately consumed, could hyperpower automatic code generation. How far do you think it could go, or is there a natural limit to that?
Look, I think it will be able to do, like, the AI models will be able to do a lot. But I suspect it will be for certain types of code. Like, the way that I use it is it's really helpful in writing boilerplate code, for instance. So, like, things where, you know, like, no code that I write is on any critical path anywhere. Like, I'm way too useless.
Okay, caveat.
So
this is not shipping in the next version of Windows.
Yeah, correct. But because, like, I'm an infrequent coder at this point, like, when I sit down to code, like, I spend a lot of time, like, you know, go to Stack Overflow, like, read the documentation, like, fiddle around with a bunch of things, and, like, it's really great for things like that where I can just sort of express a thing I'm trying to accomplish, and I don't have to remember, you know, the pandas invocation. Pandas is a Python data science library to, you know, transform a CSV file in a particular way, right? So it's great at that.
I don't know if any of you watch Westworld, but I don't know if you do.
Yeah.
There's a segment in Westworld, it's about 2 or 3 minutes, that's sharing a future audio creation experience. And an operator is sitting at a console, and you could imagine what it is. I forget it. It's like, okay, make a city street, we want a protagonist, no, slightly older, gray beard, do this, make it more rainy out, do that. Now in 3D, we jump from Dolly, right? We jump from pixels to 3D objects and meshes, but it seems like someday that's gonna be feasible.
Probably.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, you and I are old enough where we remember the days where you had to do a whole bunch of stuff with assembly language, and like you probably wrote 50 different hash table implementations because your programming language back in the 80s didn't have a good standard library with, like, a
En este
dictionary
momento
implementation.
está a punto de terminar la primera
Like, I
parte,
think
que
our
sería
programming
la
tools,
parte
like, this is what we all want. We
inicial
want them
donde
to become
presentaron
more and
nuevas
more
cosas.
powerful over time.
Ahora viene el
But the
almuerzo
interesting thing
y
that we
después
all
viene
do as developers is, like, we get
un
to
preguntas y
decide the
respuestas al creador
problems
de
that we're gonna
Roblox
go solve,
y después
like,
vienen
which ones are
eventos y más charlas.
interesting and
Eso
have
es,
value.
nosotros estamos
And, like, those are the
reaccionando en el
choices that
evento.
we get to
En
make.
este momento
Like, how
está
do
una
we
charla
all
aburrida,
choose
pero
to
una
use
charla
these
entre
tools? Like, do they
un señor de
let us
Microsoft
create more
con el
impact,
CEO de Roblox.
or you know, like, are they doing something else? And, like, that's the thing. You know, I just strongly encourage everyone to think. It's like, the tools are amazing. Like, get your hands on them. Like, try to figure out how you do something with them that, like, moves the needle for your users, your stakeholders, like, the people you care about.
Yeah, it's interesting to imagine we were assembly language programmers, and then we got Pascal, and then C, and then C++, and then reflective languages, and C#, and so we climbed that. But there is this fun thing to think about. There's still got to be parts where there's assembly language.
Yeah, for sure.
Within anything.
I think there's always going to be a huge value.
En este momento
and, like,
debería
even
ser el
before the
almuerzo,
AI
pero se están
coding
retrasando
tools,
un poco.
came around. Like, I have a podcast, and, like, for a while, everyone who came on the podcast, like, we were sort of lamenting the fact that too few developers actually appreciate, like, the complete you know, stack, and so it's not that you have to. Like, you can operate at a high level of abstraction and, like, do amazing things, but occasionally the abstractions break and you need to, like, dive one level down, and you might have to dive 2 levels down, and, like, the further down you can go when things break, like, the more power you have. And it's the same with anything, right? Like, I'm a woodworker, so I have a CNC machine that I can program to, like, cut things out, which is great, but, like, I also occasionally need to fiddle around with a hand plane to like dial something in. So like I think you just like for me at least, it's fun to have as mastery over as many tools as you possibly can. Like have the fully automated powerful ones, but like understand the the old ones too. And like you can take delight in the in like having mastery over all of them.
Let's take an example of one of our creators who might have a specific avatar style in their experience. And we're going to ultimately allow the users of that experience to create avatars. So imagine, pick your favorite avatar style, Disney, The Incredibles, Lego, Hello Kitty, I don't care what it is. I could imagine an avatar experience where I went into one of these and rather than doing the traditional sliders, telling their experience, I'd like an avatar that looks a little like me.
Así que ahora vamos a conseguir ítem gratis. Nos mudamos. Nos mudamos. Nos mudamos. Así que ok, vamos a conseguir un ítem gratis. ¿De dónde? Spotify. Bueno, Spotify no creo, pero es la experiencia de Spotify. Así que ahora sí se viene lo chido. Vamos a conseguir el ítem de Spotify. Así que vamos preparando todo. La experiencia de Spotify. Experiencias. Spotify Island. ¿Dónde estamos? Bien. Iniciamos la experiencia. Y vamos a conseguir el ítem gratis. Vamos a la parte donde carga todo. Carga todito. Vamos a bajarle. Yo creo que la música va a estar bien. No molesta a nadie. Ahí está. Corte, ahí está. Vamos a conseguir el objeto de Island. Saltamos esto. Acá estamos. Tenemos que carguen todos los chunks. Y acá nos vamos a un speedrun. A conseguir. Oh, esto. Tampoco que me sirva mucho. Bien. Vamos al speedrun. Hay que conseguir 40 cosas. No 20 cosas. No me acuerdo la misión. Bien. Bueno, no me cargo. Ahí está. Bueno, ahora sí. Genial, no me salto. No me estás saltando. Ahora sí, vamos a serio. Ahora una pausita.
vamos a jugar un juego que ustedes me dijeron, Germán, por favor, juégalo, por favor, Germán, por favor. Se llama Rainbow Friends, no sé nada del juego, mi conocimiento es solamente que es un tipo azul que está diciendo hola, que va a estar interesante. Roblox Crash, un error inesperado ha ocurrido. Ok, reinicié el computador, está todo bien, debería hacerle clic a él.
Bien.
Por favor. Ok. Esperando a otros jugadores. 6 de 12. Ok, vamos a jugar 12 personas al parecer. 13 ahora. Ok, cambió la cosa. Cambiaron las reglas del juego. Al parecer, si aprieto la C, puedo ir al baño. Buen detalle ahí. Oh. Ok, vamos en un bus escolar. Creo que ahí estoy yo, el único idiota, sin una skin decente.
Ok, perdóneme. Ahí volví. Y vamos a seguir consiguiendo el ítem gratis. Next. La RDC está parada, así que muy de pedo. Al límite de morir. Vamos con este nivel. Momento de concentración. En nivel 5 creo. No veo nada. No. Bueno, a iniciar todo el nivel de nuevo. Voy por abajo esta vez. Es más rápido. Acá no saltes. Y llegamos. Voy a revisar antes de iniciar si ya me dio el ítem. Otra. No, todavía no me lo dio. Espérame que voy a revisar la misión. Bueno, la RDC ya ha terminado la primera parte. Ahora hay que esperar. Bien. preguntas y respuestas. Voy a tener que hacer algo muy especial para verlo y no me dio el ítem, así que voy a revisar bien la misión. Así ya puedo saber. Hoy hay que recoger 40 estrellas. La pregunta es: ¿dónde están las 40 estrellas? Porque no vi ninguna. ¿Ustedes vieron alguna? Yo la verdad es que no vi ninguna. Estrella. Genial. No sé dónde me metí. ¿Dónde me metí? Volví. Espérenme que estoy comiendo. Vamos a ver cómo se consigue esto. Yo no vi ninguna estrella. Ah, tenía que saltar. Ah, por acá creo que se puede. Ojo, siguiente nivel. Tuki. 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 Tuki, tuki. Y saltamos. Tuki, tuki, tuki. Creo que tengo que llegar a nivel 40. No me canso de jugarlo. Es el más largo, creo. Bueno, el más largo será el siguiente. No, no me jodas. ¿Qué es esto? ¿Qué es esto de tener que calcularle? No es así los speedrun. Bueno, acá llegamos. Next level. Bueno, la cuestión es que tenés que llegar al nivel 40 para conseguir el ítem. Muy jodido, porque llega al nivel 40. No veo nada. Hay que sacar justito. Bueno, listo. Bueno, listo, entre comillas. Bueno, yo digo que nos sacamos porque no creo que así se consiga el ítem. Llegar al nivel 40 es muy jodido. Y no quiero hacerlo en una hora. Bueno, ahora tengo que solucionar una cosa. Vamos a ver esto. Así que una pausa hasta que empiece la versión. Así que nos vemos. Chao, ya vuelvo.
started to fall, and where were you? How could I know you were falling too? Grabbing the wind, cutting my skin, but it's hard because I'm falling. Tell me why I'm falling. Oh, life's calling, but it's hard because I'm falling. Falling, 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 falling.
was wrong, but I kept going to show I was strong. Pushing to my own soul, but you came, you made me see the weight I put on me was too much, too tough to heal. I needed time, I needed to be I'm letting your light shine. I'm letting your